who bring the power to your home, the ones who make sure your phone calls and internet keep speeding along. We build things like schools and hospitals. We bring the biggest shows and sporting events to the world, keep America's railroads on the right track, help cities, states, and the federal government work for you. And we proudly build products made in the USA. The International Brotherhood of Electrical Workers, the IBEW.
You didn't do anything wrong. You just didn't know Miller Lite has more taste and only one more calorie than Michelob Ultra. Now, you do.
Safety isn't a list of boxes to check. It's taking the best technologies out there and adapting them to work for you. The ultrasound that can see inside patients can also detect early signs of corrosion at our refineries. High-tech military cameras that see through walls can inspect our pipelines to prevent leaks. Remote-controlled aircraft can help us identify potential problems and stop them in their tracks. At BP, safety is never being satisfied and always working to be better. Safety doesn't come in a box. It's not a banner that goes on a wall. It's not something you do now and then, or when it's convenient. It's using state-of-the-art simulators to better prepare for any situation. It's giving offshore teams onshore support, and it's empowering anyone to stop a job if something doesn't seem right. At BP, safety is never being satisfied and always working to be better. Safety doesn't come.
The lineup cards are being exchanged and ground rules are being discussed. It's Scott Nowakowski exchanging the lineup card for Southland and Adam Enright doing the duties for Northwest Indiana. That is my indication to give you those starting lineups for tonight's game, starting with the visitors from Southland. Leading off and playing center field, Kyle Fenner. George Bilecki will bat second and play right field. Batting third is shortstop A.J. Taylor. Hitting cleanup and playing first base, Chris McDevitt. Batting fifth is second baseman Blaze Cano. Hitting sixth and starting behind the plate, John Crowell. Batting seventh at third base, Bo Palicki. Hitting eighth and playing left field, Jackie Turner. Turner hitting eighth. And rounding out the 1 through 9 for the Vikings and starting on the mound is Nick Knowles. And those are the Vikings. Now here's the Oilmen starting lineup that Knowles will be opposing. Leading off and playing second base, Shai Robinson. It's Robinson leading off at second. Batting second and getting the start at third, David Marshall. Batting third is left fielder Kane Hedrick. Hedrick hitting third. The cleanup hitter is shortstop Jack Zebig. Batting fifth and starting behind the plate, Nick Anderson. Batting sixth is center fielder Dom Curcio. Hitting seventh and playing first base, Joe Cosenza. Batting eighth in right field, Chaz Clark. Clark hitting eighth. And rounding out the 1 through 9 for the Oilmen, designated hitter Jake Ostrowski. All that in back of Northwest Indiana right-hander Matt Ostrowski. It's Matt Ostrowski starting on the mound for the Oilmen here tonight. Oilmen are being introduced over the public address system, and as that occurs, they're taking the field defensively and wearing their gold uniforms with black numbers on their backs. They've got the black Oilman lettering across the front of the chest, the white pants, the black cap, and, of course, the gold Oilman logo on the front of the cap. The Vikings are wearing their black uniforms. They have white numbers on their backs, smaller white numbers on the fronts, the red caps for Southland with the dark bill to that cap, and the gray pants for the visitors from Southland. Umpires are all set to work today's game. Luigi Guerrero is handling the balls and strikes, and Mike Clay will have the decisions on the base paths. Well, the lineups have been introduced. That means it's time for the national anthem. Let's listen in live and join the playing of the anthem.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, we ask that you please rise. Please remove your caps as we honor America tonight with the playing of our national anthem.
There you have the playing of tonight's national anthem. Well, it's Ostrowski against Knowles. It's the Oilmen against the Vikings. And it's next on the Northwest Indiana Oilmen Broadcasting Network.
Beach is just too hot. I mean, God, look at it. It's making the sand burn, the mouth dry, the skin cry. I mean, everything's just... Oh, there's Coors Light. Well-mouthed desert, meet ice-cold beer. Mountain cold refreshment. Let's chill.
Who is the IBEW? We're the people who bring the power to your home, the ones who make sure your phone calls and internet keep speeding along. We build things like schools and hospitals. We bring the biggest shows and sporting events to the world, keep America's railroads on the right track, help cities, states, and the federal government work for you. And we proudly build products made in the USA. The International Brotherhood of Electrical Workers, the IBEW.
You didn't do anything wrong. You just didn't know Miller Lite has more taste and only one more calorie than Michelob Ultra. Now, you do.
Safety isn't a list of boxes to check. It's taking the best technologies out there and adapting them to work for you. The ultrasound that can see inside patients can also detect early signs of corrosion at our refineries. High-tech military cameras that see through walls can inspect our pipelines to prevent leaks. Remote-controlled aircraft can help us identify potential problems and stop them in their tracks. At BP, safety is never being satisfied and always working to be better.
And we're back at Oil City Stadium as the pregame festivities have occurred. The throw goes down to second base, and that means it's time for another night of baseball here in Whiting. The game time temperature is 78 degrees. It's quite a bit cooler than last night. A pleasant night temperature-wise, and as of now it is dry. It is partly cloudy at game time, and we're going to get this game underway right on time. We will just have to dodge a potential shower or two, and we hope that will miss us here at Oil City as the night goes on. First pitch comes at 7:11. It's taken in on the inside portion, and it's ball one ball, and no strikes. As Fenner stands in hitting .364, he faces Matt Ostrowski here this evening. The next offering is taken inside as well, and Matt Ostrowski falls behind 2-0. It's been a while since we've seen Matt Ostrowski, the Trinity Christian College pitcher. We'll see Jake Ostrowski start as the DH tonight and perhaps pitch later on. 2-0 slow roller to the left side, charging in Zebig. Zebig fields it and throws it on to first in time. And Kyle Fenner is out number one, Leo, as we get another look at Matt Ostrowski.
It's been a while since we've seen Matt Ostrowski, and that means it's also been a while since opposing hitters have seen Matt Ostrowski. He has a little bit of a different arm slot than his brother, a little bit more of a sidearm approach. So that could be something that takes a few batters to get used to, and we might see a bit of a feeling out process from the Vikings here, as Ostrowski's just going to try to get through some innings here. And it's good to know that you have Jake as well that can go in as needed and could work a potential long relief role.
It's a swung on, lifted foul off to the left out of play. Ostrowski last pitched on June the 10th, logging an inning against the Joliet Generals, allowing a run on 3 hits, walking 1, and striking out 1. He has a .360 earned run average, just 5 innings of work this summer. He has struck out 4 and walked 5. It is Matt Ostrowski on the mound for Northwest Indiana. The 1-0 line the other way. That's going to be a base hit, ticketed for the gap in left center field off the bat of Bilecki. Running it down, Curcio. Here's the throw to second, not in time. Sliding in safely with a 2-base hit is George Bilecki as he lines one toward left center, and the Vikings have the first hit of the day. There's a man at second with 1 away here in the opening inning.
That was a good rip by Bilecki. It had some good carry to it once it got to the outfield as well. It forced Curcio to have to take a wide angle to try to get there to cut it down. But he had a good relay throw in, as it was a good throw to Robinson that nearly came in time to get him at second base, but he just was able to get off to a good jump and get in there safely for the 1-out double.
Now A.J. Taylor will stand in next as Matt Ostrowski toes the rubber. Native of Lockport, Illinois, a 2018 Lockport Township product. First pitch, look out, he's hit by a pitch. It was an off-speed delivery, and Taylor gets nailed. And just like that, the Vikings threaten here in the opening inning. Runners at first and second, and only 1 away.
Yeah, it was looking like Ostrowski was trying to front door that pitch as it had some bite to it, but just broke in too soon, hit the batter there. As now that puts Southland in a good spot here with 2 men on and one of their top hitters in the plate. This is a deep Southland lineup. They have a lot of guys that can really just hit for contact. They're a dangerous team to pitch to when they have runners on base. Chris
McDevitt standing in. Runners take their leads from first and second, 1 out. Here's the pitch on the way, swinging a line drive off the mound. This is picked up by the second baseman, flipped to second one. The relay throw will not be made. Robinson, the second baseman, navigating the tricky bounce off the mound. He flips to covering Zebig for a 4-6 fielder's choice. Out at second for the second out of the inning is Taylor. Bilecki scoots to third on the play, but now 2 down.
That was a tricky play for Robinson to make as it kind of just went off a ramp off the pitching mound, came very high in the air. He had to play that, and it looked like it caught Zebig a little bit off guard when he tried to just flip it over to second base. But fortunately, Zebig was able to recover and make that play, so at least you get one out, and now you're just one away from getting it out of this inning.
Viking runners take their leads from first and third. Blaze Cano standing in. Here's the first pitch to him. It's taken for a strike call, and the count, no balls and 1 strike. We are just underway at Oil City Stadium. Brandon Vickery and Leo Staudaher, happy to have you with us as Matt Ostrowski gets the start on the mound for NWI tonight. Oh, no balls, 1 strike on Cano. Here comes the next pitch. Swinging a slow ground ball left side, fielded by Zebig. His throw across the diamond is going to be just in time. It was a slow roller. Zebig had to hurry. He fielded this nicely, and a strong throw onto first retires the side. No runs, 1 hit, and 2 left. After a half, it's Southland nothing, and the Oilmen coming to bat on the Northwest Indiana Oilmen Broadcasting Network.
When you hire certified electrician contractors, you're getting the best. But just as important as our skill and expertise is our culture of safety. We know it's important to you, and we know it's important to them. Certified Electrician represents the NECA IBEW team, a team where safety and productivity go hand in hand. It's why our jobs finish on time and on budget. It's why owners that use us are repeat customers. Certified Electrician, working together, powering Northwest Indiana.
Wait! Let me help! Lando Frost! Premium meat! Delicious! And no byproducts!
Toss it in.
Et moi?
Okay.
Whee!
Make the smart choice. Lando Frost Premium Meat.
Yes!
When it comes to Sunday, choose the right couch. Here's to the original light beer. It's Miller time.
Back here at Oil City, we played a half. Bottom of the first coming up. Nick Knowles will have the start for the Southland Vikings. 2-0 record, 4.39 his ERA. This will be his 11th game and 5th start, 28 in the third innings of work. He has been fairly solid for Southland so far this season. We did see him back on July the 26th work a couple innings against the Oilmen, 5 to be exact. He allowed just one run in that outing, struck out 2, did not walk anybody, and the Oilmen will get another opportunity to face right-hander Nick Knowles here this evening.
And that was big for the Oilmen not to give up any runs in the top of the first inning. That's what kind of set them off to a bad tone yesterday, was that they were already chasing after the first 3 outs from the Corn Dogs. When you're not playing from behind at home, that really puts you off in a good spot. You want to be the ones that set the tone, get that first run on the board, and that's what they'll try to do here against Knowles, someone that they haven't seen too much of on the mound this season, but are trying to help fight for their postseason seeding and get off with a win tonight, so getting the first runs on the board would be huge for them.
Stands at 6 feet tall. He attends Prairie State, where Dre Gilmore from the Chicago American Giants is an assistant coach. I believe Pascual Santiago is the head coach still at Prairie State, and that is where Nick Knowles plays his college ball. It'll be Shy Robinson to lead off for the Oilmen. He's 5 for 9 here in the young season so far. Robinson will lead things off for the Oilmen, and he's been a nice addition, someone that Adam Enright is inserting in the leadoff spot in the batting order.
And he's been able to hit for those extra bases, something the Oilmen don't have too many players that can do.
First pitch is a strike, Leo 0-1.
As he hit for a triple and double in his first game with the club. That triple he hit at Lee Fun Stadium was about 2 feet shy of going over the fence, so he's someone that can really give the ball a ride when he makes contact.
Next pitch misses for a ball, and the count evens out at 1 ball and 1 strike, so he has some extra bases among those 5 hits. If he can keep hitting like that, he could be a very nice boost with the playoffs right around the corner. Here's a line drive. That's going to get down for another base hit, and it gets past Bilecki, and then headed for second is Robinson. He's going to stand up safely with a double at second as the throw comes in. Bilecki maybe it's opportunity to cut that off, but didn't get right past him. He had to kind of reach for it to his side. I think probably a double for Robinson to lead off this bottom of the first inning.
And Robinson was able to take a good cut at first base, didn't waste too much movement, was able to keep his momentum going as he turned the corner there, had a lot of speed coming out of the box, And that was just what he does a good job of in his first 2 games with the Oilmen. He's getting under the ball and being able to hit that kind of line drive contact all across the field.
Now it's Marshall standing in, and it's low and outside for a ball. Yeah, that was just, it just looks so solid. The ball looks good coming off his bat. He's been really impressive here in just a small sample size with Northwest Indiana.
Be exciting to see what he brings to Illinois State next season. I'm sure Steve Holm and the rest of the Redbirds will be excited to see what he brings to the table.
There's a strike called on Marshall. Holm, former big leaguer, the head coach at Illinois State. Here comes the 1-1. This is taken for ball 2. 2 balls and 1 strike.
David Marshall, someone who's really settled in well into the 2 spot this season, whether it's Chris Baker or now Robinson. It really helps him out when he normally has that leadoff man on base, as he can try to drive in another run here.
This is swung on and lifted foul off to the left and out of play. 2 balls and 2 strikes, the count on Marshall.
Marshall's really benefited from good leadoff hitters as he's driven in 35 runs on the year. I'd like to see how many of those were Chris Baker, as he was kind of a mainstay in the leadoff spot for so much of this season, normally starting the game off with a man on base for Marshall. 2
balls and 2 strikes on David, hitting .298. Yeah, you're right. That helps to have that type of performance in front of you. Here's the 2-2. This is taken for a ball, ball 3. There's a whole book by, I believe, by Jason Stark about how stats like RBIs are useless because it's really no indication of the performance of you as a hitter. It all depends on what happens in front of you. The 3-2 is swung on and lifted to left and foul ground over his Turner, and he cannot make the catch. It's actually fair, and it's going to be an extra base hit. Robinson's going to come in and score, and they double off the bat of Marshall. This stayed fair. I thought it was going to at least be in foul territory, if not get out of play, but it hits off the Midwest Orthopedics at rush sign and left. Back-to-back doubles to start this inning, and Turner, the left fielder, has not had a very positive start to the day and left, and the Oilmen have a 1-0 lead.
And that was a different ball to get a read on than the one from Robinson. This one was kind of drifting up in the air, took a little bit of a curve, and it's hard to play near the wall out there in left field. And then Robinson was able to get a good read, realizing that wasn't going to be one that was caught, didn't have to worry about having to try to tag up, was able to get in home, and the Oilmen will strike first here.
Here's Hedrick standing in, 1-0 Oilmen. First pitch to him is swung on and lifted high in the air, foul off to the left and out of play. And the count 0-1. Good to see a couple of nice pieces of contact right off the bat for the Oilmen.
And that's something the Oilmen maybe haven't had too much this season. They've had to try to manufacture runs, but just 2 really good rips. And the guy in the box now, Kane Hedrick, is someone that's really been able to slug for those extra bases in a limited sample size with the Oilmen. So they have some bats at the top of the order that could try to make this a crooked number.
0-1 to him is fisted right side in foul territory. There is McDevitt to make the catch for the first out of the inning. So Hedrick is retired. Now Zebig will stand in an RBI spot with runners still at second and only 1 away.
For the Oilmen here, you don't want to settle for just 1 run. You want to try to make sure you get off to a big lead early on because Southland is a very good team. They have a deep lineup of hitters, so 1 run can be something they can easily erase, especially when you're pitching someone who hasn't really started much this season. You want to give Matt Ostrowski a lot of runs to work with in support here.
First pitch here is called a strike, and the count is no balls and a strike on Jack Zebig. Yeah, you're right. If you can jump in front early, this is low and in for a ball, it makes all the difference for a pitcher who hasn't pitched in a while. He can feel a lot more comfortable if he has a crooked number in back of him to get things started. 1 ball and 1 strike here on Zebig. Marshall out to the lead at second, the 1-1. Swinging a grounder foul right side, and the count now goes to 1-2.
Just for the Oilman confidence as well, it helps you play a lot better when you can face someone like Knowles and know that you're able to get hits, get runs against him earlier, and someone like Jack Zebig could really help break it open. Zebig's been someone who's really progressed well this summer. It's hard to tell that he's a player that just finished his high school season. He has all the tools to be a very good college player.
The 1-2 is popped up in the air, shallow left center. Fenner, the center fielder, over. Turner, the left fielder, under it. He gloves it, and that is out number 2. A pop fly off the bat of Zebig turns into the second out of the inning, and now the frame will rest on the shoulders of Oilman catcher Nick Anderson.
It's been a busy half inning so far for Turner out there in left field. This time he was able to get a read on that, was able to go over to his left and make that grab, camp under it for out number 2, and now the Vikings are 1 out away from getting out of this with just the 1 run allowed. That could be huge for them too, where the Oilmen have been able to hit their starter well, but if you get out with just the 1 run allowed, you have to feel a little confident in how they rebounded.
Anderson takes inside for a ball. 1 ball and no strikes. Knowles trying to limit the damage to a single tally for the Oilmen, who have struck first here against the Vikings tonight. 1 ball and no strikes, the count on Anderson. Here's the set and the 2-0. Swing and a miss, and the count evens out at a ball and a strike. 1-0 Oilmen. We are in the opening inning, and the Oilmen hoping for more in this frame. One Nick facing off with the other as Knowles works to Anderson. Here's the 1-1. Swing a ground ball left side. This is picked up by Palicki, the third baseman. His throw across the diamond is in time, and the inning ends. So the Oilmen settle for the 1 run. They get it on 2 hits and leave 1. After 1, Oilmen 1 and Southland nothing on the Northwest Indiana Oilmen Broadcasting Network.
Football legend Tom Flores, a.k.a. the Iceman, a.k.a. the first Latino quarterback and head coach ever, a.k.a. why isn't he in the hall yet? Well, Coors Light is going to do something about it.
I'll drink to that.
I am a success. I am the future.
I am.
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 I am Ivy Tech Community College. Are you?
You guys are crushing it. See how 8 grams of healthy protein in Land of Frost premium meat gives you energy and keeps you full. Let's get those buns toasted and bread. Cheese, 10 more. Go.
I'm getting shredded.
Make the smart choice. Land of Frost premium meat.
Safety isn't a list of boxes to check. It's taking the best technologies out there and adapting them to work for you. The ultrasound that can see inside patients can also detect early signs of corrosion at our refineries. High-tech military cameras that see through walls can inspect our pipelines to prevent leaks. Remote-controlled aircraft can help us identify potential problems and stop them in their tracks. At BP, safety is never being satisfied and always working to be better. Safety doesn't come in a box. It's not a banner that goes on a wall. It's not something you do now and then, or when it's convenient. It's using state-of-the-art simulators to better prepare for any situation. It's giving offshore teams onshore support, and it's empowering anyone to stop a job if something doesn't seem right. At BP, safety is never being satisfied and always working to be better.
BP's natural gas teams use smart app technology to share data from any well instantly, so they can analyze trends and stop potential problems in their tracks, because safety is never being satisfied and always working to be better.
Back at Oil City Stadium, 1-0 in favor of the Oilmen, as the Oilmen get a run on back-to-back doubles to begin that first inning. But it was a nice job by Knowles, Leo, as he settled in, retiring the next 3 men in succession and causing the Oilmen to settle for 1 run in that first frame.
Yeah, if those 2 doubles, first and second batters of the game, they were really taken deep to left field. Then he was doing a good job of just not getting rattled by that, pitching well with a runner on second base, and was able to get out of that. For Southland, you have to be satisfied with how he was able to adjust. And for the Oilmen, you maybe feel like that was a situation where you could have got to a starter early and put up more than just the 1 run.
John Crowell standing in. First pitch of the frame is on the way. It's taken for strike 1 called by Luigi Guerrero, who is battling through an apparent injury tonight, as he has been just appeared to be a little bit hobbled, but he's fighting through it and calling the balls and strikes. Here comes the 0-1. Swinging a grounder foul behind the plate, and the count goes to 0-2.
And then we'll get to see how Matt Ostrowski is able to set up and work here. It always helps a starting pitcher when you have that lead to work with, and now he can try to go deeper into this game, as he hasn't really worked in a starter's role this season, so he's maybe still trying to figure some things out in this capacity.
No balls and 2 strikes from Matt Ostrowski. This next offering is taken for strike 3 call. Caught looking is Crowell. The ball fired around the horn by the Oilmen infield after the first out of the second inning.
And you have to like what you saw from Ostrowski in that at-bat. He was going right at the strike zone. He's got some good stuff on his off-speed pitch. You can really see the movement here from the booth. And if he's able to work that breaking away from the plate to a right-handed hitter, that could be a pitch that really fools them a lot.
Bo Palicki standing in next. 1-0 in favor of the Oilmen. Here's the pitch swung on and lifted in the air to right. A lazy fly ball. Chaz Clark is there. He gloves it for the second out of the second inning.
and that can really help the confidence of Ostrowski on the mound. You get 2 quick outs, really only needing 4 pitches to work with. That helps keep his arm fresh and can really help keep the bats at bay of Southland as they aren't able to work with much, and that means he's throwing strikes too. A strikeout and a fly ball, all stuff that could be playable for the hitters.
Jackie Turner stands in next. The left-handed batter comes to the plate for the first time and takes a strike. The count 0-1. New member of the Vikings.
We've seen a lot of teams around the league have had to add some new players as the season nears its end. So those reinforcements, as we've seen in cases like Kane Hedrick or Shai Robinson for the Oilmen, can really give you a boost as you're nearing the finish line. We'll see what Turner is able to provide here.
No balls and 1 strike. Here comes the swing and a ground ball back up the middle, but it's fielded by Matt Ostrowski. He runs halfway to first and then hurls it to first in time. Play goes 1-3, and the Vikings go 1-2-3. We've played an inning and a half. It remains Oilmen 1, Vikings nothing on the Northwest Indiana Oilmen Broadcasting Network.
We don't go to the office, we build it. This is a truism with Ironworkers Local 395 and the Northwest Indiana Contractors Association. Our goal is to exceed our customers' expectations. We provide a skilled, OSHA-trained, drug-free workforce, as well as many other certifications from our 4-year training program. Every time you hire an iron worker from Local 395, you should feel confident that you are receiving highly trained, highly skilled, and drug-free journeymen and apprentices who take their job and your project seriously. For more information, contact us at 219-763-7900 or ironworkers395.com.
Have a student headed to college this fall? If so, you probably have questions, and the best place to find answers is Ivy Tech Community College. Ivy Tech is in your community and offers hundreds of options. Best of all, our tuition is a fraction of the cost of other colleges. Complete a free application today.
Safety isn't a list of boxes to check. It's taking the best technologies out there and adapting them to work for you. The ultrasound that can see inside patients can also detect early signs of corrosion at our refineries. High-tech military cameras that see through walls can inspect our pipelines to prevent leaks. Remote-controlled aircraft can help us identify potential problems and stop them in their tracks. At BP, safety is never being satisfied and always working to be better.
And we're back as we go to the bottom of inning number 2, 1-0 in favor of the Oilmen. How about a 1-2-3 inning for Matt Ostrowski, including fielding his own position nicely on the final play of that frame?
That was an athletic play by Ostrowski to make on the mound, making the quick flash to the leather, then getting off the mound and tossing it right over to first base for the out. That was good to see because sometimes you never know what's going to happen when you see the pitcher have to step off the mound and make a play, but Ostrowski is able to do that with relative ease and was able to get out number 3. So now we'll see the Oilmen bats, after barely being out in the field, are able to pick up where they left off last inning with the 2 hits.
First pitcher, swing and a miss. These two teams both in the playoffs. The Vikings are right on the cusp of being the number 2 seed for those upcoming playoffs. Here comes the 0-1. This is taken high for a ball, and the count evens 1 ball and 1 strike. So it appears that they'll end up in that 2 spot. Certainly they'll be second or third, and they will be in the game at Oil City Stadium on Monday night. And the Oilmen are trying to figure out whether or not they'll be the opponent for that game or not. And it all depends on if the Oilmen can overtake the Joliet Generals for 3rd place in the Northern League standings. Here comes the 2-1. This is swung on and lifted to right center. This ball is going to be caught by the second baseman, Cano, as he ranges out onto the shallow right center field grass, and that is the first out here in inning number 3.
And for the Oilmen, it's hard to say that you really see either of the top 2 teams in the postseason because both of them will be tough outs to get, but you have to think they want to try to finish in that 3rd spot so that they can play their postseason game here at Oil City Stadium. It helps playing at your home ballpark where your home fans can get out there easier. Even if you won't have last at-bats, it just helps playing in the park you're most familiar with.
There's a strike called on Cosenza. Here comes the 0-1. This is swung on and lifted in the air left field. It's going to get out of play, and the count no balls and 2 strikes on Cosenza. We're in the bottom of inning number 2. Nice job by a fan running that down, and now he celebrates as he runs down the foul ball out on the grassy berm area.
Had to fight through the swarm of fans out there on the berm and get that ball. Now he will have a souvenir that he will likely cherish forever.
Here's the 0-2. It's swung on in line to left center. This is going to hang up there for the center fielder, Fenner, and that's the second out of this second inning. So bottom two down, and nobody on base, and that'll bring up Chaz Clark.
And Knowles is doing a good job, similar to what Ostrowski is doing. He's just pitching for contact. He's maybe not trying to hit his spots outside the zone, get these hitters to chase. He's throwing stuff that the Oilmen can put bats on and let his defense take care of it. That's been a good strategy that's worked. We saw Aaron Vertuno only need about 5 pitches to get through an inning against the Oilmen on Monday, just pitching for 3 flyouts, and that really helped the Generals in that game.
Slow and outside for a ball on Clark, and the count 1 ball and no strikes. Oilmen out hitting the Vikings by a 2-1 count. Here comes the 1-0. This is taken low and outside for a ball, 2 balls and no strikes.
And when you have both starting pitchers working quick and throwing strikes, that affects how the hitters have to approach. You have to think you might see the best pitch of the at-bat on that first or second toss, so you have to come up there ready to take a hack when you need to.
Here's a strike call in the count, 2 balls and a strike on Clark. Oilman with a first inning run, but now 2 outs and nobody on. The 2-1, swinging a foul. We're talking about the postseason and the seeding. This is the only game in the Northern League this week. Today. This week there have been quite a few others, but today the other games were all canceled. Mother Nature obviously playing a role. The Generals and Panthers were supposed to play a doubleheader. That was canceled, and the Giants and Corn Dogs canceled out in Crown Point. Here's the 2-2. It's a line drive to short, right at the shortstop Taylor, and quickly the inning comes to an end. The Oilmen go 1-2-3 in the second. We have played 2. It's Northwest Indiana 1 and Southland nothing on the Northwest Indiana Oilmen Broadcasting Network.
I've never seen ads on top of the roof where it's helping the community.
This place teaches you to be genuine, to be the same person today as you were yesterday. People from Indiana, they're pretty comfortable with who they are. And you know, I think that puts the people around them at ease to be comfortable with who they are.
The values that built Indiana are here in Strachan Van Til. We're Indiana's grocery store, and we're proud to be Indiana made.
These days, it's recommended that you keep your social circle small. Of course, as the original light beer, we've always recommended that. It's Miller time.
These natural gas teams use smart app technology to share data from any well instantly, so they can analyze trends and stop potential problems in their tracks, because safety is never being satisfied and always working to be better.
As always, Lucky the Unicorn making the rounds at Oil City Stadium. Lucky debuting a new wand here yesterday, a glow-in-the-dark wand that has really been a hit with some of the young Oilman fans. Always good to see Lucky and Oilman Stan keeping all the fans engaged here at the OC. As we go to the third, it's 1-0 in favor of the Oilmen. The Oilmen went down 1-2-3 in that last half inning. Knowles, after allowing back-to-back doubles to start the ball game, has really settled in. He's sent down now 6 straight.
And he was looking efficient with his command, really doing a good job of locating pitches for strikes and throwing stuff that the Oilmen were able to put bats on but not drive. Kind of these soft hit liners like we saw to end the inning. That ball by Clark, he was able to line it to short, but it was an easy play for the shortstop to make because he just really had to take a couple steps and secure it.
First pitch low and in to Nick Knowles, and the count is 1 ball and no strikes. Swing and a miss by Knowles, who's hitting 200. He has batted for himself before a number of times this season. 1 ball and 1 strike, the count on the Southland pitcher. Here comes the 1-1. It's taken inside for a ball, 2-1. The Vikings coming off back-to-back victories over Crestwood. That helped the Oilmen clinch a playoff berth with the Viking win over the Panthers yesterday. The 2-1 is outside for a ball, 3-1. So with that, the Panthers have been mathematically eliminated from playoff contention.
For the Oilmen, you have to be happy about that it helps them clinch even though they lost the past 2 nights. So the Vikings will help them out, and that makes those 3 games coming up with Crestwood to end the week a little less important. That could have been a very tough situation if Crestwood was still mathematically alive in the playoff hunt coming into Oil City for 3 straight with the Oilmen.
Swing and a miss by Knowles. The count goes full at 3-2. Here comes the payoff pitch. Swinging a tapper foul behind the plate. It remains full on Knowles, 3-2.
Obviously, for the Oilmen, you would like to get the win to celebrate clinching the postseason, but they were able to clinch. Nonetheless, it doesn't necessarily matter how you get there. It's just that you got there, and now they can try to focus on playing for next week and try to help themselves out a little bit standings-wise these next few games.
Here's the payoff pitch. It's high for ball 4. Leadoff walk issued to the 9 batter, the pitcher Knowles. Not what you wanted to do, and that'll bring up the top of the order with a leadoff runner aboard.
And now the second time around the lineup, we'll see how how Southland maybe adjusts, because it seems like it's really been the off-speed pitches that have been working for Ostrowski on the mound. So if they're able to time those up a little bit more and try to drive them, we'll see if that affects how they're able to make contact against Matt Ostrowski on the mound.
First pitch here swung on and lifted foul off to the right and out of play. Going back to the conversation about the postseason, the Oilmen in the playoffs for the 11th consecutive year. I talked with Adam Enright about that after the game last night, about the sustained success of this franchise. And he said every year there's more pressure because you want to sustain that winning tradition. Here comes the 0-1. This is swung on and lifted to shallow right there, and kind of misplaying it, but still making the catch is the right fielder Clark for the first out in the third inning.
That was a little bit of an awkward play by Clark out there in right field, as he almost had to bend over and hit the turf as he made that catch, but he still made it, makes one out of the inning. That would have been a tricky one to drop, as that was kind of hit to him, and he only had to take a few steps to get there.
And Adam talked about not only is there more self-inflicted pressure to sustain that success, but something he's talked a lot about this season in our conversations. Here comes the pitch to Bilecki. It's low and in, narrowly misses hitting him in the foot, but it bounces away for a wild pitch, and now Knowles is in scoring position. Bilecki doubled his first time, 1-0 in favor of the Oilmen here in the third. But the other teams are aware, and they kind of have this game circled on their calendar. When they come here to Oil City Stadium, you're going to get the best pitching and the best effort out of the opposing team. And that has made it increasingly difficult for the Oilmen to sustain that success that they've built down through the last decade. Here's the 1-0, Leo, and it's outside for ball 2.
And I definitely think other teams in the league carry a little extra chip on their shoulder. They want to be able to come in Oil City Stadium and give the Oilmen a loss. They want to get the win in front of the crowd, under the lights, especially when you're trying to fight for your playoff seeding as well. That just puts a target on the Oilmen back. And for the Oilmen players, that adds to the pressure. You don't want to be the first team in club history not to make the postseason. Adam Enright doesn't want to be the first manager to not make the postseason. So everybody's probably kind of thinking about that. And it adds just that little extra element of pressure that they have to deal with.
That box is checked off, but there's still another achievement that remains to be seen. 2 balls and 1 strike, the count on Bilecki. The Oilmen are 22-21. They have never had a losing season in the history of the franchise. 2 balls and 1 strike, the count on Bilecki. This is taken low and in for a ball. And now 3 games against Crestwood coming up in the ball game here tonight. So the Oilmen need to at least go 2-2 over these final 4 games in order to secure the 11th consecutive winning season with the Oilmen.
I think that speaks about, too, how good the league has been this year, that the Oilmen have played in so many close games, their record's so close to 500, and they can still be a team that you can conceivably see winning the league title with that record close to 500.
3-1 lifted in the air, foul. Hedrick over near the bullpen, and he runs out of room as it goes into the visiting bullpen down the left field line, and Bilecki will face a full count at 3-2.
That could be a scary play for Hedrick to make there as he ran out of room there near that fence for the bullpen. It looked like he was able to shield himself from impact a little bit there, but when you're focusing on the ball like that, you almost kind of lose sight of what's coming up as he ran out of real estate quickly out there in left field.
3-2 on Bilecki, who, again, already has a 2-base hit to his name, the lone Viking hit of the day. Now he backs away, but a big achievement to just be in the playoffs. And although you'd love to be on your home field, there might be some advantage to taking on the Corn Dogs in a one-and-done situation. I think it's going to be very tough to beat them in a 3-game series. Here comes the payoff pitch. This is swung on and lifted in the air left field. Hedrick is under it. He gloves it, and that's the second out of the inning. So if you do end up in that situation where you have to go to Crown Point on Monday night, although it's not ideal because you'd like to finish higher, you'd like to have the 3 seed, you'd like to be here at Oil City Stadium, you still have the, I guess, the consolation of knowing that you only have to beat Lake County once. You don't have to beat them twice to win the Northern League title.
That was kind of the same argument people had with the Cardinals playing the Dodgers last season in the wild card game. Obviously, it didn't go as desired for St. Louis, but thinking that you have to face a tough team, you might only want to have to face them if you only have to beat them one time and move on, that could be the type of thinking the Oilmen might need, as the Corn Dogs are a tough team to beat. The pressure would be on them at their home field, their first season. They haven't really hosted a playoff game there, so if you go in there and give them a shock in one game, that could really make it a whole new field for whoever does escape those two play-in games, essentially.
First pitch strike on Taylor, now ground ball to the left side, fielded by Marshall, the third baseman moving to his left. He guns it across the diamond in time, and the inning ends. No runs, no hits, one left for Southland in the third. After 2.5, it remains Oilmen 1 and the Vikings nothing on the Northwest Indiana Oilmen Broadcasting Network.
I've never seen ads on top of the roof where it's helping the community.
This place teaches you to be genuine, to be the same person today as you were yesterday. People from Indiana, they're pretty comfortable with who they are. And you know, I think that puts the people around them at ease to be comfortable with who they are.
The values that built Indiana are here in Strachan Van Til. We're Indiana's grocery store, and we're proud to be Indiana made.
These days, it's recommended that you keep your social circle small. Of course, as the original light beer, we've always recommended that. It's Miller time.
Safety doesn't come in a box. It's not a banner that goes on a wall. It's not something you do now and then, or when it's convenient. It's using state-of-the-art simulators to better prepare for any situation. It's giving offshore teams onshore support, and it's empowering anyone to stop a job if something doesn't seem right. At BP, safety is never being satisfied and always working to be better.
BP's natural gas teams use smart app technology to share data from any well instantly, so they can analyze trends and stop potential problems in their tracks, because safety is never being satisfied and always working to be better.
We take it to the bottom of inning number 3 as Jake Ostrowski leads off the inning for Northwest Indiana. He is 2 for 7 as a hitter this season, and of course, Leo, he has perhaps the most memorable moment of the season for the Oilmen, that walk-off hit to help his own cause in a game that he pitched very well as well. Here comes the first pitch to him. It's swung on and grounded to the right side. This is going to be fielded by the second baseman, Cano. It's a 4-3 put out, 1 pitch and 1 away here in the third. But Ostrowski, no slouch at the plate.
That was a pretty memorable night for the Oilmen. That was a night where you didn't expect Ostrowski to deliver the walk-off hit. He did. That was just, the Oilmen have had some great walk-off wins this season, but that had to be one of the top ones, as you could just tell the genuine excitement, because it was so unexpected seeing Jake Ostrowski get the hit there. He wasn't quite able to get one in his first at-bat today, but there could still be some opportunity, as maybe he's starting to get used to taking a swing in the box.
Shai Robinson takes high for ball 1. 1 ball, no strikes, 1-0 Oilmen. Here comes the next offering. It's taken for a strike, and the count evens out. Here's the 1-1 on the way. This is swung on and lifted in the air. It's a pop fly in foul territory, able to make the catch as Crowell, and that's the second out of the third.
So neither pitcher was really able to get the swinging and missing strikeout stuff working today, but both are doing a good job of inducing that easily playable fly ball contact. That's a lot we've seen so far today, and Knowles doing a good job of that the last half inning or so, as he's been able to just get those easy outs. They're putting bats on it, but are just able to get the defense to make those quick plays, and that's really helping his pitch count.
Here comes the first pitch to David Marshall. He swings and grounds one to the right side. That's going to be fielded by Cano. 1, 2, 3. Go the Oilmen in the third, as his throw to first is in time. And we've played 3. It's the Oilmen 1 and Southland nothing on the Northwest Indiana Oilmen Broadcasting Network.
Football legend Tom Flores, a.k.a. the Iceman, a.k.a. the first Latino quarterback and head coach ever, a.k.a. why isn't he in the hall yet? Well, Coors Light is going to do something about it.
I'll drink to that. I am a success.
I am the future.
I am.
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 I am Ivy Tech Community College.
Are you?
You guys are crushing it. See how 8 grams of healthy protein in Land of Frost premium meat gives you energy and keeps you full. Let's get those buns toasted and bread. Cheese, 10 more. Go.
I'm getting shredded.
Make the smart choice. Land of Frost Premium Meat.
These natural gas teams use smart app technology to share data from any well instantly, so they can analyze trends and stop potential problems in their tracks, because safety is never being satisfied and always working to be better.
Brandon Leo with you tonight. We got the A team, David and Kevin are with us as well as we take it to inning number 4, 1-0 in favor of the Oilmen. The Oilmen scratch out a first inning run. Back-to-back doubles started this game. Both balls were somewhat misplayed in left field by Turner. However, the Oilmen produced a run right off the bat, and that run has held up ever since as we take it to the 4th.
And you have to certainly think in an Oilmen Vikings matchup, that one run won't hold for much longer. That the Vikings, with the amount of hitters they have in this lineup, can try to erase that. So for the Oilmen, you want to try to get 3 quick outs, get your bats back up. But certainly have to like what you're seeing from Matt Ostrowski on the mound so far. And on the other side, Nick Knowles is doing a really good job for the Vikings.
First pitch here taken outside for a ball, 1 ball and no strikes. The Oilmen coming off an 8-3 loss to Lake County. And it's a lot of what we touched on yesterday. It felt like a close game late. The Oilmen actually had the lead going to the final third of the game. The 1-0 is inside for a ball, 2 balls and no strikes. And I think that game might play out differently if it's in the middle of the season. But given the timing, Adam Enright was thinking more about Monday night of next week than he was about last night's game, having to keep the playoffs as the highest priority. Here comes the 2-0. This is high and outside for a ball. So the Corn Dogs, what was a close game with the Oilmen leading, and it turns into 2 in the 7th, 2 in the 8th, 2 in the 9th, and the Corn Dogs win by a score of 8-3, and it didn't allow for any possible late inning magic for the Oilmen because Lake County had kind of pulled away. 3 balls and no strikes the count here. It's a 4-pitch walk to McDevitt to lead off the 4th inning. But we saw the pitching staff being handled in a way where you're saving some of the top arms for next week.
We certainly saw some arms we hadn't seen in a while, so it was good to get those guys some work on the mound too. Get some innings for them in case you maybe do need them for the postseason. You can see what they have, what they're working with. But that was a game, you think probably next week it would probably be managed a lot differently. I did think it was interesting, though, bringing Nick Hayden in an inning that wasn't the 9th inning. A bit of a high leverage role, though.
Ground ball down the third base line and foul. Just foul, the count 0-1.
But bringing in Hayden in a high leverage role that wasn't the last 3 outs to get like we normally see him get, just bringing in your best reliever and a chance where maybe the game could still be won or lost, and seeing him go 2 innings, it was interesting to see him used as that closer, because that is a debate we see a lot in baseball, is when do you use your best reliever? Is it only for those last 3 outs, or do you put him in situations like we saw with Hayden last night?
Yeah, you're right. What prefaced that was the Oilmen trying to stretch Kyle Tyler for a 2nd inning in his first pitching performance of the summer. Here comes the 0-1, swinging a bouncing ball up the middle. It's going to be through the center of the diamond for a base hit, and holding it second is McDevitt. Back-to-back base runners begin this 4th inning, a walk and a ground ball single through the middle. Now runners at first and second, nobody out, and that'll bring up John Crowell. But the Oilmen tried to stretch Tyler for a 2nd inning. The plan was to bring in Nick Hayden in the 8th for a clean inning and then kind of see what happens in the 9th based on where the game's at, and possibly have him go 2nd if it's a very close game. You're trying to win that ball game, or possibly pull him after 1 and go in a different direction at the end of the game. Here's a strike called with Luke Pappas, your other option available, and he did end up pitching the 9th inning. But it kind of shattered the plan when Tyler, understandably in his first pitching outing of the summer, wasn't able to get through that 2nd inning, and that forced the situation Leo alluded to with Hayden coming in. Here's a line drive to short. Could be multiple outs. Go to 2nd, too. The throw to first is not going to be made, as able to get back to first safely is Cano. It's a double play. Crowell lines to short, as Zebig makes the catch on the hot smash. I thought it had a chance to be a triple play, but it turns into just a twin-killing L6-4. Crowell the first out of the inning, and McDevitt the second out. Cano safe as he gets back to first.
Heads-up play by Zebig to realize there was that chance for that quick double play as he was able to throw over to Robinson at second, and a good job by Robinson not throwing the first as there was nobody covering the bag, so that could have resulted in some trouble there if he threw that throw and resulted in maybe an overthrow or some errors, and you had to play, catch him on the base paths, so he was able to avoid trouble in that spot.
Yeah, you can see Robinson kind of saying what's going on there with Cosenza not being at first base, knowing that this could have been a triple play. The 1-0 inside here, this is going to be a stolen base. Stealing second uncontested is Cano. He was in motion with the pitch. Unable to receive the pitch cleanly was Anderson. It was a pitch where he may have had a chance to gun down Cano, but instead it goes as a steal.
So now for Pilecki, you're really trying to dig in here. You have a runner in scoring position, only trailing by one. You're looking to try to put Southland on the board here. As something hits the gap, could maybe try to score Cano as he's got some speed on the base paths.
2 outs and a runner at second. Here's the 1-1. Low for a ball, 2-1.
For Ostrowski now, you're just trying to get out of this spot. You were able to get some help from your defense getting that double play. Now you're 1 out away. They were able to make up for that walk to lead off the inning and negated one of the base runners, and now you just focus on the out at the plate and try to get out of this jam.
2 balls, 1 strike. Count on Pilecki. Here's the 2-1. Taken outside for a ball, 3-1.
It looks like he's favoring that outside part of the plate against Pilecki here as those pitches from Ostrowski are just breaking away from the plate against the right-handed batter. He maybe needs to put something a little closer to try to get that benefit of a called strike.
Here comes the 3-1. Swinging a ground ball to the left side. This is going to be picked up by the third baseman, Marshall. His throw across the diamond is in time, and the inning ends. 5-3, the putout goes. No runs, a hit, and 1 left for Southland in that frame. We've played 3.5. It's the Oilmen 1 and Southland nothing on the Northwest Indiana Oilmen Broadcasting Network.
Beach is just too hot. I mean, God, look at it. It's making the sand burn, the mouth dry, the skin cry. I mean, everything's just... Oh, there's Coors Light. Well-mouthed desert, meet ice-cold beer. Mountain cold refreshment. Let's chill.
Who is the IBEW? We're the people who bring the power to your home. The ones who make sure your phone calls and internet keep speeding along. We build things like schools and hospitals. We bring the biggest shows and sporting events to the world. Keep America's railroads on the right track. Help cities, states, and the federal government work for you. And we proudly build products made in the USA. The International Brotherhood of Electrical Workers, the IBEW.
You didn't do anything wrong. You just didn't know Miller Lite has more taste and only 1 more calorie than Michelob Ultra. Now, you do.
Safety isn't a list of boxes to check. It's taking the best technologies out there and adapting them to work for you. The ultrasound that can see inside patients can also detect early signs of corrosion at our refineries. High-tech military cameras that see through walls can inspect our pipelines to prevent leaks. Remote-controlled aircraft can help us identify potential problems and stop them in their tracks. At BP, safety is never being satisfied and always working to be better.
BP's natural gas teams use smart app technology to share data from any well instantly, so they can analyze trends and stop potential problems in their tracks, because safety is never being satisfied and always working to be better.
Kane Hedrick will lead off the 4th inning for the Northwest Indiana Oilmen, who are clinging to a 1-0 lead. It's the final matchup of the regular season between these two teams, but there's certainly a chance they meet next week in the postseason. Here's a swing and a miss that could occur on Monday in a semifinal game, or could be in a championship series Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. And these are a couple of old rivals in the Northern League that have been no stranger to one another down through the years, playing over 100 matchups. Here comes the 0-1. This is low for a ball, 1 strike.
And this has been a real fun regular season series between those two teams. It really feels like the rivalry is kind of back on, as there's been a lot of intensity in the games they've played. And after the postseason series they had last season, it would just be a real treat to see them match up next week if that happens again, because those were two really fun games last year.
Well, two balls and a strike, and it seems like these two teams just find a way to match up in the postseason. It's happened numerous times down through the years where it seems like the Oilmen and Vikings face off. Here's ball three balls and a strike. The Oilmen in this regular season series have, again, this is swung on and lifted in the air. It's in foul territory. The catcher, Crowell, was going to make the catch, and that's the first out of this inning. The Oilmen, well over 100 matchups now between these two teams. They met last week in the Tuesday game, the Oilmen winning by a score of 5-1. They were scheduled to meet another time last week, but that game was rained out. The Oilmen also went to Southland and won 6-4 back on the 14th of July, so they've won the last two matchups to now even this season series at 4 wins apiece. Here's a ground ball to first. This is picked up by the first baseman, McDevitt. He takes it 3 unassisted to retire Zebig for the second out of the 4th inning.
It really seemed like early in the season that there was the Vikings that had the upper hand, but the Oilmen responded really well the past couple games. That game last week was probably one of their best of the seasons. They had 15 hits in that one, scoring 5 runs, got some really good pitching of only 2 hits allowed by Silas Noe, and that was one of the most complete games we've seen all year from the Oilmen.
Anderson swings, hits this one off the inside part of the bat, one hopper toward Taylor. The shortstop throws to first in time, and the Oilmen again go 1-2-3 in the 4th. After the first 2 Oilmen reach, now it's been 12 consecutive Oilmen sent down by the starting pitcher, Nick Knowles. We go to the 5th. Leo will have it for you. Kevin Malater is going to join him when we come back. It's the Oilmen 1 and Southland 0 on the Northwest Indiana Oilmen Broadcasting Network.
When you hire certified electrician contractors, you're getting the best. But just as important as our skill and expertise is our culture of safety. We know it's important to you, and we know it's important to them. Certified Electrician represents the NECA IBEW team, a team where safety and productivity go hand in hand. It's why our jobs finish on time and on budget. It's why owners that use us are repeat customers. Certified Electrician, working together, powering Northwest Indiana.
Wait! Let me help! Lando Frost! Premium meat! Delicious! And no byproducts!
Toss it in.
Et moi?
Okay.
Whee!
Make a smart choice. Land of Frost Premium Meat.
Yes!
When it comes to Sunday, choose the right couch. Here's to the original light beer. It's Miller time.
Safety isn't a list of boxes to check. It's taking the best technologies out there and adapting them to work for you. The ultrasound that can see inside patients can also detect early signs of corrosion at our refineries. High-tech military cameras that see through walls can inspect our pipelines to prevent leaks. Remote-controlled aircraft can help us identify potential problems and stop them in their tracks. At BP, safety is never being satisfied and always working to be better. Safety doesn't come in a box. It's not a banner that goes on a wall. It's not something you do now and then, or when it's convenient. It's using state-of-the-art simulators to better prepare for any situation. It's giving offshore teams onshore support, and it's empowering anyone to stop a job if something doesn't seem right. At BP, safety is never being satisfied and always working to be better.
Welcome back to Oil City Stadium. Leo Staudacher, and ladies and gentlemen, it's Kevin Malater on the call now with us as we begin the 5th inning. And it's 1-0 Oilmen as we begin the top of the 5th frame. Both teams only with 2 hits apiece, and you really have to be pleased with what you're seeing from Matt Ostrowski in his first start of the season. So far, 4 innings thrown, just 2 hits, 2 walks, 1 strikeout. His longest pitching appearance of the season as well.
That's all you could ask for from a guy who's making his first start of the summer, is just a quality outing, and this has been the definition of it thus far.
And his first pitch clips Jackie Turner on the shin, so that will be a leadoff hit by pitch. The newest Viking gets on base for the first time. with the HBP there. That will bring Nick Knowles, Southland's starter, up to the plate here.
And you just got to shake that off of your Ostrowski. You've had such a quality outing thus far. You've been able to work around a couple of base runners that Southland's been able to put on, and granted, that's because of the strong defensive performance that the Oilmen has had today, which is really underrated storyline tonight.
First pitch to Knowles is sent over to Ziebek at short. He will throw over to first. It elects not to go to second, and that throw is caught by Cosenza. So that will be the first out of the inning. And yeah, the underrated storyline you're talking about, the person we just saw there is a big reason why. Jack Ziebek, he made a really smart play on a line out in the fourth inning, realizing he had McDevitt away from the bag, was able to throw to second to get a quick double play there. That had to help Ostrowski as he was off to a little bit of a jam, got the first two runners of the inning on base, and then a hard liner. Ziebek was able to play and get 2 outs with 1 at bat. That really helped him work through that fourth inning, and probably a big reason why he's able to start off the fifth here, as there's 1 out and the top of the order comes up with Kyle Fenner, who will take a first pitch ball from Ostrowski. Fenner has really been dominant out of the leadoff spot all season for Southland, has been someone who's really helped set the tone for them all year, and will be trying to bring in a run with Turner on second base.
Leads the team in average, one of the top leaders in average across the Northern League. I mean, the list goes on and on. Also, meant he's a plus defender.
With the 1-0, you see Turner running over to second base. The throw from Anderson will catch him at third. Marshall applies the tag for the put out there. Heads up play by Anderson to get out number 2. And now Ostrowski is on the verge of getting away from this frame with 1 ball, 1 strike, and 2 outs.
And that's one of the few things that Southland's really struggled with this summer is just their base running awareness of knowing the situation. And I feel that's cost them in some games over the course of the summer. It's just being too aggressive, because there's a point where you want to be aggressive. Granted, I know you want to try to get to third base during that scenario because then a fly ball gets the inning. But you also have to understand there's a big risk, though, to running in that scenario, because now all of a sudden it's 2 outs with no one on versus just maybe, hey, if I stay on second base, I know I can score on a base hit.
The curveball breaking away from the right-handed hitter is called a strike. So now it's a 1-2 count as Ostrowski fires this one. Chopped over to Marshall at third base. He grabs it, throws on the hop over to first, and that is in time as Cosenza scoops it out of the dirt for a 5-3 putout to end the inning. So 3 batters come up, 3 outs are made for a great play by Anderson behind the plate, and Marshall making a smart move on the hot corner there. We are midway through the 5th inning here, and it's the Oilmen 1 and the Vikings 0. Oilmen at bats next on the Northwest Indiana Oilmen Broadcasting Network.
Football legend Tom Flores, a.k.a. the Iceman, a.k.a. the first Latino quarterback and head coach ever, a.k.a. why isn't he in the hall yet? Well, Coors Light is going to do something about it.
I'll drink to that.
I am a success. I am the future.
I am.
I am.
I am.
I am.
I am.
I am.
I am. I am.
I am Ivy Tech Community College.
Are you?
You guys are crushing it. See how 8 grams of healthy protein in Land of Frost premium meat gives you energy and keeps you full. Let's get those buns toasted and bread. Cheese, 10 more. Go.
I'm getting shredded.
Make the smart choice. Land of Frost premium meat.
Safety isn't a list of boxes to check. It's taking the best technologies out there and adapting them to work for you. The ultrasound that can see inside patients can also detect early signs of corrosion at our refineries. High-tech military cameras that see through walls can inspect our pipelines to prevent leaks. Remote-controlled aircraft can help us identify potential problems and stop them in their tracks.
It will be Curcio, Cosenza, and Clark, the 3 C's, to lead things off for the Oilmen to start the bottom of the 5th inning, as the first pitch from Knowles is sent out to right field by Curcio. Going in for it is Balicki, and he will make the catch for out number 1. This is something Knowles is doing a really good job of, is getting these outs on the first couple pitches of at-bats. That's really helped him be in a good spot to go deeper into this ballgame.
You're exactly right, Leo, and this is an opportunity for Nick Knowles to prove himself for a potential spot in the postseason. Obviously, everyone's going to be on the table in that winner-go-home game on Monday, but if Southland were to win, Scott Nowakowski and Rock Massey are going to have a very interesting decision on who they're going to go to in a championship series game 1. Obviously, that first game is a lot more important, but also you do have to think about that, though, in terms of when you are using guys and how much you're using them for.
As the first pitch to Cosenza and therefore a strike. This one is low and away for ball 1. Knowles threw 4 1/3, 2 hits, 1 run. It was earned, no walks. That's the big one so far. So he's doing a good job of throwing strikes up there. As Cosenza swings over that one and loses control of the bat. That goes onto the concourse and hits the railing. One fan on the grassy berm has secured the bat, and he will return that to the Southland dugout. Heads up play by a fan out there to avoid the lumber, but that was a goofy play by Cosenza as the bat went pretty far there.
It almost went over the brick wall there on the side berm. I mean, that's a good 50, 60, if not 70 feet. My goodness, I've seen players have the bat slipped out of their hand. I've never seen players have the bat slipped out of their hand and then go that far.
What was the launch angle on that one? As the 1-2 pitch is sent over to third base, Pollocky handles it, throws to first on an arc. That will be caught by McDevitt. He has to apply the tag to Cosenza as it pulled him off the bag, but nonetheless, that will be an out number 2 for the Oilmen in this inning. So here comes Chaz Clark to bat with nobody on and 2 away. The Oilmen have been going down quickly as the last 3 innings have all been 1, 2, 3. Clark's looking to avoid that.
Knowles has retired 14 straight.
Yeah, I was doing the math in my head quickly there. I didn't have enough fingers to count there, so 14 straight. As I was looking at my handwriting, too, that's always a mystery sometimes, but the first pitch to Clark is high for ball 1.
There are some days where I can't even read my own book, and I'm the one writing it, so I feel you on that one, Leo.
The 1-0 pitch to Clark, low for ball 2. Clark lined out to shortstop his last time up. The Oilmen got their first 2 men of the ball game on base with 2 doubles, and now Knowles really doing a good job of adjusting. All without a strikeout, too, as that's low for ball 3. As he's just been able to get them to line out, fly out, ground out into stuff. His defense is doing a good job helping him go into the 5th inning here.
He's incorporated his breaking ball a lot more, which is why I think that's the difference right now, as he misses with a fastball there. He's incorporated the breaking ball a lot more, which we saw him go fastball dominant in that first game, but since then he's done a nice pattern in mixing up those pitches, and he's throwing off the timing enough that he's getting a lot of weak contact, and the hard hit balls are still right at his defenders.
So the Oilmen avoid having 15 consecutive go down to Knowles as Clark is able to work a 4-pitch walk. That will bring Jake Ostrowski to the plate here in search of his 3rd hit of the season. As the right-hander fires, and that's going to be called ball 1. We'll see how aggressive Clark is with getting off to a lead on first with 2 outs and base runners few and far between. Maybe we'll see him on the move with a pitcher in the plate, but Ostrowski puts this one in the air. This goes on to the concourse foul here to make it a 1-1 count.
Personally, I wouldn't risk it in this scenario. I think you just got to let your offense go to work when you're on base. If Ostrowski gets on, all of a sudden, boom, it's the top of your order again. And with how dangerous that top portion of the lineup has been tonight, which is Robinson, Marshall being the only 2 hits the Oilmen have had tonight, I think you just got to trust your offense if you're Clark.
Knowles fires the 1-1. That breaks inside for ball 2. Oilmen with just 1 walk now, with Clark being the first one to do that in this ball game. So just 2 hits and a walk for 3 base runners as now Knowles steps off the rubber. It will be a balk, and that will allow Clark to advance to second. So that puts a man in scoring position with a 2-1 count.
That's just unfortunate for Nick Knowles. I think he forgot he had the base runner on because he went into his stretch his windup rather. And his team was trying to step off, and he stepped off incorrectly because there's a specific way you're supposed to step off when you're in the windup with a base runner on.
He pumps in a strike to even the count at 2 apiece. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. Man on second base as well for the Oilmen. They lead 1-0 here in the bottom of the 5th. They're looking to add to that as they have Jake Ostrowski in the box, batting right-handed as he watches that one. Low for ball 3. He goes full here. So now Knowles on jeopardy of walking back-to-back hitters from the Oilmen. As Knowles gets set on the mound for his payoff pitch, Clark will take a couple steps off the bag at second. Knowles looks over to him and goes towards the plate here. Ostrowski fouls this one away over to the parking lot on the right side of the field for a foul ball, so he will do the payoff pitch over again.
And I like seeing Ostrowski fight here. We really haven't seen him pick the bat off his shoulder that much. But now I like to see the fight here with the 2 outs and the aggressiveness, and we'll see if he's able to work a walk or perhaps even a base runner or a base hit rather.
Coming into this season, Ostrowski had not taken an at-bat in a game scenario in several years, but you really have to think he looks confident in the box, and that can really help you too, as maybe you might not have the power, but if you can be assured of yourself as he works the walk there, that can help him out there, as he doesn't look afraid in the box, as he was able to get a walk in a long at-bat and put 2 men on for the Oilmen here. That will bring Shai Robinson into the box here with 2 men on, 2 outs. The Oilmen lead by a run, and they could try to add to that here with their leadoff hitter up. Robinson had a double and later scored in the first inning.
And if you're Knowles here, you just don't want to shy away here from Robinson. You've already been able to retire him your last time up, and you just got to keep doing the same strategies. Just try to attack the strike zone and let them hit it and let them put the ball in play. It's worked for you thus far, and you just got to go back to that strategy here. He seems to be nibbling a little bit here in this 5th inning.
First pitch to Robinson is low for a ball, so he'll start off 1-0. Robinson 1 for 2 this evening. He flew out behind home plate to the catcher his last at bat. That one's called a strike, makes it a 1-1 count. He's been a good bonus to the Oilmen roster this past couple of games, as he's been able to slug for some extra bases, been able to help them out offensively. Now batting in the top of the order, so he's got the even 1-1 count here. Clark on second base, Ostrowski on first, and then Robinson sends this one through the gap at third and short. That will move Clark over to third, getting the advanced sign, but the throw comes in from left field, so now the bases will be loaded with Oilmen as Clark goes from second to third, Ostrowski from first to second, and Robinson gets his way on base with a single there, all with 2 outs. And now David Marshall comes to the box with a maximum on and 2 outs.
How about Chaz Clark there giving himself his own stop sign? Yeah. He was originally being waved around. He was like, there's no way I'm making this. And that was a strong throw from Jackie Turner in left field there. Had Clark gone home, he would have been what I like to call toast.
Yeah, that was probably a wise stop by Clark, as maybe it looked advantageous, but now you live to fight another at-bat here with Marshall in the box. Marshall had an RBI double back in the first inning. He takes a first pitch ball from Knowles. This is still somebody you don't mind having up in the spot, as he's been with the club about all season and was a Northern League All-Star. He's driven in 20 runs. He has a chance to add to that as he takes a strike from Knowles. Count even at 1-1. Full base paths for the Oilmen. Probably their biggest spot of the day, as the curveball is hit by Marshall high in the zone. That rolls out to center field. Clark will score. Coming around third is Ostrowski. The throw to Crowell at the plate.
Wow.
He will be, as Kevin said, toast. Applied. The tag is Crowell, and Ostrowski pats him on the back for that one. He was caught, and that will end the inning for the Oilmen. They were able to add 1, but they will leave a couple on. As we're through 5 here at Oil City Stadium, it's the Oilmen leading the Vikings 2-0. You're keeping up with us on the Northwest Indiana Oilmen Broadcasting Network.
We don't go to the office, we build it. This is a truism with Ironworkers Local 395 and the Northwest Indiana Contractors Association. Our goal is to exceed our customers' expectations. We provide a skilled, OSHA-trained, drug-free workforce, as well as many other certifications from our 4-year training program. Every time you hire an iron worker from Local 395, you should feel confident that you are receiving highly trained, highly skilled, and drug-free journeymen and apprentices who take their job and your project seriously. For more information, contact us at 219-763-7900 or ironworkers395.com.
Have a student headed to college this fall? If so, you probably have questions, and the best place to find answers is Ivy Tech Community College. Ivy Tech is in your community and offers hundreds of options. Best of all, our tuition is a fraction of the cost of other colleges. Complete a free application today.
Safety isn't a list of boxes to check. It's taking the best technologies out there and adapting them to work for you. The ultrasound that can see inside patients can also detect early signs of corrosion at our refineries. High-tech military cameras that see through walls can inspect our pipelines to prevent leaks. Remote-controlled aircraft can help us identify potential problems and stop them in their tracks. At BP, safety is never being satisfied and always working to be better.
And back we are with Leo Stadaher. Brandon Vickery back with you. David Bork and Kevin Malater are with us as well. We go to inning number 6. It's the Oilmen 2 and Southland nothing here tonight at Oil City Stadium As of now, the weather has held off. It is dark and cloudy and overcast. It is actually looking pretty favorable as far as precipitation at this moment. However, should that change, we've reached an important threshold as we have played 5 innings, and that means this game is official. So if there is any weather disruption, it is already an official game, should that occur at any point as we move along. Let's take it to the 6th inning. It's Bilecki to lead it off after the Oilmen were able to push across 1 run in that 5th inning. They had a second man gunned down easily trying to score, and this is ball 1 ball and no strikes. That was Jake Ostrowski, normally a pitcher who's the DH today for the Oilmen. Got the green light around third, and the center fielder Fenner with a strong throw to the plate to cut him down, and he was about halfway home as the throw reached the catcher's mitt, and there waiting for him was Crowell to apply the tag. On the previous play, Matt Vituli had also tried to send Chaz Clark home, and he decided better of it and just stayed at third base. So back-to-back plays there where the Oilmen had some interesting base coaching from our longtime friend. I've known him for many years, Matt Vituli. I'll talk to him about it after the game and see maybe what was going through his mind in that 5th inning.
Maybe see the Oilmen trying to get aggressive here as they're trying to open it up here against the Vikings. They had bases loaded there, and Ostrowski just getting caught a little bit too far towards the plate there. You saw him just kind of having some fun with the catcher there, had to pat him on the back. He was out and he knew it there, but you'd like having seen the Oilmen at least get 1 run in that scenario. Would like to see more with the bases loaded, but I think they were just trying to be aggressive there, and it came back to hurt them.
Here's the 3-1 taken for a strike call. We go full now at 3-2. Climbing back in this count is Ostrowski, and the count is full on Bilecki. Leading off this 6th inning, 2-0 the score in favor of the Oilmen. A 2-hit shutout to this point for Oilman pitcher Matt Ostrowski. Here comes the payoff pitch. This is swung on and lifted in the air down the left field line, foul and out of play. A couple other things from observing that 5th inning that I wanted to point out. I thought that it was interesting that the pitcher Knowles got so used to working without men on base as he had that long string of runners sent down, 14 in a row, pretty much the entire game he had been working with the bases empty, that he forgot about it, started out of the windup, and then it created a balk. Here comes the set and the 3-2 swing and a miss, strike 3. Ostrowski strikes out Bilecki for the first out of the 6th inning.
That was something you don't really see too often, as Knowles was really in a good rhythm there and then just went with the wrong motion with a runner on base, and I think that maybe helped the Oilmen be able to put that run on. It was you had Knowles pitching at such a good rhythm, and then you break things up, really force him to work for that 3rd out, and you're able to get a run on the board as a result of it, put a few men on base, and maybe had the potential for more.
And look out, this is behind A.J. Taylor in the count 1-0.
It was a big strikeout to get for Ostrowski as he was behind in that at-bat 3-0, was able to then get some strikes in there and finish with a strikeout to start this inning off with an out. But you have to wonder maybe how much longer he can go in this game, as this is his deepest outing of the season. So you have to maybe worry about him starting to lose command.
1 ball, no strikes on A.J. Taylor. The Oilmen capitalizing on back-to-back walks that came with 2 down in that 5th inning to produce a 2-out run, and that has doubled the lead to 2-0. 1 ball, no strikes on A.J. He swings and pops this one up. Left side out is the shortstop Zebig, and he falling to the ground. He makes the catch. Zebig is able to hang on and glove it as he called off the left fielder Hedrick, and the third baseman Marshall had to do a little dance to corral it, but the bottom line is this: he makes the catch, and that's the 2nd out of the inning.
Yeah, Zebig having to work for that one as 3 Oilmen were all coming in for it. Zebig called for it, stuck with his guns, and was able to make that catch despite his momentum taking him to the grass for out number 2.
2 outs, and the base is clear for McDevitt. 2-0 in favor of the Oilmen. This is swung on and fouled back to the screen. The count 0-1.
So now this is a big spot for the Vikings here. You give up a run in the top of the inning. Now you get 2 quick outs. You're facing a pitcher who's going the deepest he's gone in the ballgame. For McDevitt at the plate here, you want to try to tack on a hit here, force him to work for another batter. You saw how hard it was for Knowles to get that 3rd out after he was cruising through, so you want to try to do the same against Ostrowski here.
Low for a ball, 1-1. This is so huge, not only to give yourself a chance to win the game tonight, but just to eat up innings and help the Oilmen save some of the other pitchers on their staff for Monday and potentially a championship series next week. The 1-1 is fouled off in the count 1-2. This is a big-time outing from Matt Ostrowski, who we hadn't seen again since early June.
And this was big because you didn't want this to have to be a day where you had to burn maybe 3-4 arms, force guys to be in recovery later in the week, as well as into Monday. So he's been able to do a great job, help out the team here in a spot where he's been called into action for the first time in weeks and really looking fresh on the mound.
1-2 on McDevitt. Here comes the 1-2 pitch. This is swung on and lifted in the air to left. It's pretty well hit. It's trouble, and it's going to bang off the brick monster in left. The center fielder Curcio comes over to pick it up off that monster, and McDevitt will cruise into second with a standing double. The left fielder Hedrick hasn't played a ton of games out there, so he went back on it and then didn't quite properly anticipate that bounce. That can be very tricky if you haven't played a ton of games at this field. The way it bounced off that left field fence and then comes back toward the infield. But luckily Curcio was there to get it in and keep McDevitt to 2 bases.
And McDevitt got all of that, won a good undercut on it as he was able to put that off the wall. And Hedrick played it all the way to the warning track, so that bounce went over him. He probably should have been about, we saw Curcio picked up maybe about 10 feet away from the wall, as that was able to get him to play it off it and make that throw into second. So that really helped out the Vikings there, as it's hard for anyone to figure out playing that monster in left field, especially the higher up it hits the wall, it almost bounces further off.
This is low and in for a ball on Cano, 1 ball and no strikes. McDevitt, a 2-out, 2-base hit. Here comes the 1-0. This is taken for a strike, and the count 1-1.
So now we'll see if this disrupts the rhythm that Ostrowski was able to get into, as he had a few consecutive outs. Now he's trying to just get out number 3 here and finish off this frame.
1-1. The count on the batter, Cano, who's 1 for 2. He singled his last time. That came in the 4th. Here comes the 1-1 pitch. It's taken for strike 2 called, and ahead in the count is Matt Ostrowski. 1 ball and 2 strikes.
We've seen all night Ostrowski really likes this spot against right-handed hitters. He goes for that outside portion of the zone. He's able to get his curveball curving away from the right-handed hitters, and that's another spot he's just been able to get a lot of strikes looking in.
Here's the set and the 1-2. This is taken high for ball 2. It evens out at 2 balls and 2 strikes. Oilmen out hitting the Vikings 4-3 and leading the column that counts 2-0 on a pitcher's night at Oil City Stadium. 2 balls and 2 strikes with 2 outs and a runner on second base. Here's the 2-2. Low and outside, we go full now at 3-2.
So Cano's done a good job of working his way back into this count. This is an important pitch. As for Ostrowski, that can help him get out of this inning. But Cano is just trying to extend things, give the Vikings a rally, as he represents the tying run, too.
3-2 on Cano. Here comes the payoff pitch. It's low and outside for ball 4. It's a walk. Losing Cano there on that payoff pitch extends the inning now. As with 2 down, we've had a double and a walk on a payoff pitch. That allows John Crowell to stand in with the Oilmen leading 2-0 in what has become a big spot here in the 6th.
And that 3-2 pitch just broke too far away from the plate for ball 4. Now with Crowell at the plate, another dangerous hitter for the Vikings. You don't want to make mistakes against him. You're just trying to do what you can to get out number 3, as now there's the force active at a couple different bases, and you can just focus on the hitter at the plate as well.
Here comes Adam Enright as he makes his way out of the Oilman first base dugout. There is some action down the right field line. We'll see if he wants to stick with Ostrowski or if he wants to perhaps make a change. Deal and Jake Ostrowski are the other pitchers available that we believe we may see tonight. 69 pitches for Matt Ostrowski, so he's been pretty efficient to this point.
He's just doing a good job in throwing strikes. Wasn't really worrying about too many walks into the past 2 innings, but just doing a good job of attacking the strike zone early in counts 2 and working for contact. Not really putting up tons of strikeouts either, just a pair of them today. He's been able to put stuff in the zone, as we saw both Deal and Jake Ostrowski go down the line to the bullpen at the start of this inning, so not sure if they're both warming up or if they'll both be ready, but it looks like Matt's going to get to still face this batter.
2 outs and 2 on and a 2-run lead for the Oilmen. We are in inning number 6. And the hitter again is John Crowell. He lined into a double play that nearly was a triple play in that 4th inning. Oilmen with single tallies in the 1st and 5th. That's the extent of the scoring in the ball game. Here comes the first pitch to Crowell. Looked at for a strike, and it's 0-1.
And there is Ostrowski again, hitting that part of the zone that's been working for him all night. These Viking hitters are really just letting him throw there. They haven't been able to put much contact when it's in that portion of the zone.
Here's the set in the 0-1. This is swung on and lifted, foul out of play in the count. Here's no balls and 2 strikes.
And this is what Ostrowski's really needed after that mound visit. 2 straight strikes here, getting ahead in this at-bat. I wouldn't be surprised if he doesn't really waste too many pitches here if he goes right at him with the 0-2 count, as he's probably near the end of his day and just needs to get this third out.
0-2. Ostrowski to Crowell. Here comes the 2-strike pitch. Swing and a miss. Leo was right. He went right at him. It might have been a little bit upstairs, but he brought the heat. Crowell swings and misses, and that retires the side here in the 6th inning. No runs, 1 hit, and 2 left. We've played 5.5. It remains Oilmen 2, Vikings nothing on the Northwest Indiana Oilmen Broadcasting Network.
I've never seen ads on top of the roof where it's helping the community.
This place teaches you to be genuine, to be the same person today as you were yesterday. People from Indiana, they're pretty comfortable with who they are. And I think that puts the people around them at ease to be comfortable with who they are.
The values that built Indiana are here in Strachan Van Til. We're Indiana's grocery store, and we're proud to be Indiana made.
These days, it's recommended that you keep your social circle small. Of course, as the original light beer, we've always recommended that. It's Miller time.
Safety isn't a list of boxes to check. It's taking the best technologies out there and adapting them to work for you. The ultrasound that can see inside patients can also detect early signs of corrosion at our refineries. High-tech military cameras that see through walls can inspect our pipelines to prevent leaks. Remote-controlled aircraft can help us identify potential problems and stop them in their tracks. At BP, safety is never being satisfied and always working to be better. Safety doesn't come in a box. It's not a banner that goes on a wall. It's not something you do now and then, or when it's convenient. It's using state-of-the-art simulators to better prepare for any situation. It's giving offshore teams onshore support, and it's empowering anyone to stop a job if something doesn't seem right. At BP, safety is never being satisfied and always working to be better.
Kane Hedrick leads off the 6th inning for the Oilmen, 3, 4, and 5. Let's talk about Elvis coming up on Friday night. It is Elvis night right here at Oil City Stadium. The #1 Elvis impersonator in the Chicagoland area will be here, and you do not want to miss it. Gates open at 5:30. Performance before the game, 7:10 first pitch. It's the Oilmen and the Crestwood Panthers on Friday night. It's Elvis night at Oil City Stadium. Here's a swing and ground ball, foul left side on the count 0-1. We have had this event not every year, but select years over the history of the Oilmen. I want to say this is the 3rd or maybe the 4th time that we have seen Elvis night occur here at Oil City Stadium, and it is always a hit.
It almost makes it better that it's not every year. You really learn to appreciate it more when it's every couple years, and then just have to wait a little while, and then it comes back just when you forgot how much you missed it.
Some fans will show off their dance moves, undoubtedly. Here comes the 0-1. This is swung on, and I'm sorry, not swung on. It's in the dirt for a ball. Thinking about those dance moves had me kind of off kilter. Count 1 ball and 1 strike on Kane Hedrick, who is 0 for 2.
The White Sox used to do, I don't think they do it anymore, but they used to have an annual Elvis night. That was a big deal there. They used to have Elvis ride his motorcycle around the warning track. Will that be happening on Friday?
You'll have to come to the game to find out. The 1-1 is swung on and lifted in the air right field. It's going to be Bilecki underneath it. He makes the catch, and that's the first out of the 6th inning. It's still Nick Knowles working on the mound for Southland, and he retires the leadoff batter in the 6th.
Both teams really have to be pleased with the production they've gotten from their starting pitchers in this ballgame. Matt Ostrowski being able to throw 6 scoreless innings, and Nick Knowles doing a good job settling in. Had that streak with 14 consecutive batters retired. Just ran into trouble at the top of the 1st and then in the bottom of the 5th, but he has been able to do a good job of mowing down these Oilmen hitters.
This is low for a ball as Zebig stands in with a count of 1 ball and no strikes. 2-0. The Oilmen lead here in the last of the 6th. Knowles comes back 1-0. Tying outside for ball 2, 2 balls and no strikes. We've got to get to beat the Bork. It is David's final regular season games. He's not going to be with us for the next 3 games against the Panthers. That means it's the final beat the Bork. Here comes the 2-0. This is taken high for a ball. Now, perhaps there could be some trivia if we get to a certain point over the next 3 days for Leo and Josh and myself. But for the official beat the Bork, this is the final one. 3 balls and no strikes on Z-Big. This is taken for a strike as, of course, we try to focus entirely on the games when it comes playoff time. David will be with us next week, and Leo and David and myself will be wherever the Oilmen are, either here at Oil City Stadium or in Crown Point. Here's the 3-1. Ground ball to the right side. This is picked up by Cano. The throw to first is in time, and that is out number 2. So quickly, 2 up, 2 down. Knowles continues to roll here, Leo.
And Knowles is doing a good job, all without a strikeout, too, which is an interesting part on his stat line, that he's been able to get so many outs, all without getting the swing and miss stuff, but he's doing a good job of trusting his defense, and they've been helping him out a ton behind him, just getting these putouts and helping him go so deep into this game.
2 outs and the base is clear. Here comes the first pitch to Anderson. It's taken high for a ball, 1 ball and no strikes. Here's the set and the next offering to Anderson. This one bounces in there, and the count is 2-0.
The Oilmen have really only been able to touch Knowles for 1 walk, too. That speaks about how good his command's been able to stay with him throughout this game. As he's in the 6th inning, behind 2-0 in this count, but he's still doing a good job of mostly hitting his spots.
2 balls, no strikes on Nick Anderson. 1 Nick against another. Here comes the 2-0. This is taken low for a ball. 3 balls and no strikes. Again, the Panthers will be in each of the next 3 nights. 7-10 games. Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. Here's the 3-0. This is swung on and lifted in the air toward right. Will it hang up there? It will for the right fielder, Bilecki. And that is the 3rd out of the inning. 1-2-3 go the Oilmen in the 6th. It remains a pitcher's duel as we take it to the 7th. 2-0 Oilmen on the Northwest Indiana Oilmen Broadcasting Network.
I've never seen ads on top of the roof where it's helping the community.
This place teaches you to be genuine, to be the same person today as you were yesterday. People from Indiana, they're pretty comfortable with who they are. And you know, I think that puts the people around them at ease to be comfortable with who they are.
The values that built Indiana are here in Strachan Van Til. We're Indiana's grocery store, and we're proud to be Indiana made.
These days, it's recommended that you keep your social circle small. Of course, as the original light beer, we've always recommended that. It's Miller time.
These natural gas teams use smart app technology to share data from any well instantly, so they can analyze trends and stop potential problems in their tracks, because safety is never being satisfied and always working to be better. Safety isn't a list of boxes to check. It's taking the best technologies out there and adapting them to work for you. The ultrasound that can see inside patients can also detect early signs of corrosion at our refineries. High-tech military cameras that see through walls can inspect our pipelines to prevent leaks. Remote-controlled aircraft can help us identify potential problems and stop them in their tracks. At BP, safety is never being satisfied and always working to be better. BP's natural gas teams use smart app technology to share data from any well instantly, so they can analyze trends and stop potential problems in their tracks, because safety is never being satisfied and always working to be better.
Go to the 7th. It's 2-0 in favor of the Oilmen. All right, here we go. We have the Beat the Bork Trivia Challenge question for today. Excuse me, as we hit the 7th inning. Who are the 4 Yankee players to hit 40 or more home runs before the All-Star break? The 4 Yankees to hit 40 or more home runs before the All-Star break. Now, David lost last night, so we'll let Leo go first, thanks to Andrew's victory last night in the Beat the Bork Trivia Challenge. Leo, you want to jump in here right away?
Now, did Aaron Judge become one of the 4 to accomplish that just recently?
I'm not. I'm just gonna leave it.
Aaron Judge. I'll say that. Yes.
There you go. Aaron Judge is one.
The most recent.
Yes. Of course, he is on pace to potentially be one of the. There's a pitch taken for a strike. One of the highest home run totals in the history of the game. No balls and 1 strike. Based on the clip that he's at, Bo Palicki standing in, 2-0 Oilmen here in the 7th. Here's the 0-1. It's fouled. There's a new pitcher on the mound. Jake Ostrowski has come on to pitch. He's on in relief of his brother Matt. 6 innings, 3 hits, no runs, 3 walks, and 3 strikeouts. A dazzling day for Matt Ostrowski.
You really have to be pleased with what Matt Ostrowski was able to do, as he was able to work deep in this game, his longest performance of the season, and just do a good job of finding the strike zone all night, really keeping his command through 6 innings as well.
High for a ball, 1 ball and 2 strikes. David can feel free to chime in whenever and pass along his guess. Here's the 1-2, swinging a ground ball, base hit right field off the bat of Palicki. So Palicki goes the other way with one, and there's a leadoff single here in the 7th, 2-0 Oilmen, top 7. David says Mickey Mantle in the trivia game as a Yankee to hit 40 or more home runs before the All-Star break. That is not correct. Now it'll be Jackie Turner standing in next. 4th hit of the day for Southland. The hit column is now level at 4. 2-0 Oilmen as we play inning number 7. Here's the set from Jake Ostrowski, and the pitch is taken for a ball. Jake Ostrowski played for the Joliet Generals back in 2019. He was a Midwest Collegiate League All-Star that season. He's mature, good teammate, has the ability to limit damage on the mound. His repertoire features a fastball, slider, and change. He tops out at 87 miles an hour. Here's a pickoff throw to first, not in time. 6'1", 190 for the righty from Lockport, Illinois. And he's a troll of Trinity Christian.
And he's done a good job working in a few different roles this season. He's normally a starter, but we've seen a few times where he's had to go in a long relief capacity, eating up innings out of the bullpen. It's a good sign of his versatility that he can kind of pitch wherever the game needs him to play.
2 balls and no strikes on Turner. Ostrowski will no doubt be a factor in the postseason on the mound for the Oilmen. He is in the plans in some manner for next week. 2 balls and no strikes. However, we can tell you this. The one thing we know for sure, C.J. Burdak will pitch for the Northwest Indiana Oilmen on Monday night.
That's probably who you want up there, as he's really taken that role as probably the top starter all season. He can mix up different types of pitch speeds, different deliveries as well. For such a young pitcher, he has a lot of potential and has been pretty dominant this season.
Here's a strike called. Another solid outing from Leo yesterday. And I asked Adam Enright after the game, was it a surprise coming into the year that this incoming college freshman turns out to be the ace of your staff? And Adam said, well, he may not have pegged him as the ace of the staff, but he knew he had a chance to be really good for the Oilman pitching staff. 2-1 swing and a miss. And it's 2-2. He said that when you're the son of a big leaguer and you have that type of tutelage around the house, as his father, interestingly enough, a left-handed pitcher in the big leagues, with CJ being a righty. 2 balls and 2 strikes, the count on Turner. Here comes the payoff pitch, taken for strike 3 called. Out on strikes is Turner for the first out of the 7th inning. Still 2-0 Oilmen here in the top of the 7th. But having that around the house, that helps, and that makes him a little bit ahead of the usual incoming college freshman.
And that can help, too, because one of the things we've talked about with him all season has been he seems confident on the mound. He doesn't really shy away when he's pitching to the top hitters in the league. His first game, he came in the first inning when the team was already down by a few and just worked up there. He just doesn't look afraid up there, and that has to help when he has a good role model he can go to for advice.
Here's a pitch high, check swing, no swing, and then a snap throw to first base. Back to the bag safely is Palicki. He throws a lot of strikes. He commands the ball down in the zone, and he's going to start the game on Monday night against either the Lake County Corn Dogs or the Southland Vikings. 1 ball and no strikes. Here comes the 1-0, swinging a foul at the plate, and the count 1-1. 2-0 Oilmen as we play inning number 7. And Jake Ostrowski, again, we expect to perhaps pitch in some manner. That's why he is out of the bullpen for this game, to try to limit his pitch count here tonight. Here's a pickoff throw to first, because, again, the Oilmen are trying not to overtax their key arms going into the postseason next week.
And that's why it was so big to get 6 innings out of Ostrowski today. That puts Jake now in a spot where he can throw for the back third of this game and still have some innings left in him going into next week. And that's why you just need guys to step up this week, too, and really put the team in a good spot.
1-1 lifted foul off to the right, now to play. 1 ball and 2 strikes on Dom Curcio.
While it's important to win the games this week, you also do have to think about playing next week. So that's why we'll see management decisions like last night where you would have probably called that game a different way with the pitching, but still you had to be pleased with the guys that were called in action, how they did still all go up there and fight for those outs.
Here's a pickoff throw to first, not in time. Boy, I thought maybe the Oilmen had caught Palicki leaning the wrong way.
And a few throws over there, but Palicki still seemed to get caught pretty far away there as Ostrowski had a good read on him, but just he got back barely safe.
1 ball and 2 strikes. Here comes the set and the 1-2. Swing and a miss, strike 3. Out on strikes is Nick Knowles. And that is the second out here in inning number 7.
Center fielder, number 23, Tyler Fenner.
Back-to-back strikeouts, and now it's the top of the order in Fenner.
Really have to like the way that Ostrowski's using his fastball to attack the pitchers here, being able to throw it all over the zone that time, going high and inside for a swing and a miss and strike 3.
Here's the pitch taken for a strike, and the count 0-1. No balls and 1 strike on Fenner. 2-0 in favor of the Oilmen as we play inning number 7. Here comes the 0-1. This is swung on and popped up. Center field. Underneath it is Curcio, and he makes the catch in right center, and the inning ends. No runs, 1 hit, 1 left for Joliet in that inning. It's time to stretch at the OC. It's the Oilmen 2 and the Vikings nothing on the Northwest Indiana Oilmen Broadcasting Network.
Beach is just too hot. I mean, God, look at it. It's making the sand burn, the mouth dry, the skin cry. I mean, everything's just... Oh, there's Coors Light. Well-mouthed desert, meet ice-cold beer. Mountain cold refreshment. Let's chill.
Who is the IBEW? We're the people who bring the power to your home. The ones who make sure your phone calls and internet keep speeding along. We build things like schools and hospitals. We bring the biggest shows and sporting events to the world. Keep America's railroads on the right track. Help cities, states, and the federal government work for you. And we proudly build products made in the USA. The International Brotherhood of Electrical Workers, the IBEW.
You didn't do anything wrong. You just didn't know Miller Lite has more taste and only 1 more calorie than Michelob Ultra. Now, you do.
Safety isn't a list of boxes to check. It's taking the best technologies out there and adapting them to work for you. The ultrasound that can see inside patients can also detect early signs of corrosion at our refineries. High-tech military cameras that see through walls can inspect our pipelines to prevent leaks. Remote-controlled aircraft can help us identify potential problems and stop them in their tracks. At BP, safety is never being satisfied and always working to be better.
BP's natural gas teams use smart app technology to share data from any well instantly, so they can analyze trends and stop potential problems in their tracks, because safety is never being satisfied and always working to be better.
Oscar Trevino is on to pitch where they've stretched out here at Oil City Stadium, or after they've stretched out as the left-hander is completing his warm-up tosses. Trevino replaces Nick Knowles. He went 6 innings, 4 hits, 2 runs. They were earned, walked 2, and struck out none. And now Trevino takes over for the Southland Vikings.
And both starters just had really good games. You had to like what you saw from Knowles, as well as he didn't even throw a strikeout up there, but was still able to get so many quality outs, a lot of quick at-bats against the Oilmen. Just both Knowles and Ostrowski going deep into this game and putting their teams in good spots here with a 2-0 game here midway through 7.
It'll be 6, 7, and 8 due up for the Oilmen. Dom Curcio to lead it off. All right, Leo, do you have a guess in the Beat the Bork trivia question here?
I'll go with Roger Maris here.
This is taken for a strike in the count 0-1. Yes, Roger Maris is correct. And now a commanding 2-0 lead with only 4 answers available. David can only hope for a draw. Here comes the 0-1. This is taken outside for a ball, 1 ball and 1 strike. David says Babe Ruth. That is
It's gotta be
correct.
one.
3 different times. He had more than 40 at the All-Star break. There's 1 left. Here's the 1-1. Swinging a line drive to center. That's going to be a base hit. It's a leadoff single for Curcio. Now a throw towards first. Gets away. No further advancement. I thought this would get through and be no play at first, but an errant throw came toward first base. And it ends up being exactly what we thought it was, a single for Dom Curcio.
Yeah, that would have been one where you're better off just not even throwing the ball at all there, as that was what you saw. You're running more of a risk of an overthrow happening there, as Curcio would have beat that out anyway, so that still results in a base runner even with a throw over.
Now it's Joe Cosenza standing in after the 5th hit for the Oilmen. And he'll face the left-handed reliever Trevino here in the bottom of the 7th inning. Cosenza 0 for 2. This is taken high for a ball. Any ideas, Leo, on the final trivia answer here?
Lou Gehrig?
That is not correct. Sorry to say. 1 ball, no strikes, the count on Cosenza. Here's the 1-0. Taken for a strike call in the count 1-1. David? Alex Rodriguez is correct.
That's a good one.
And David, can you give me the year? This is taken for a strike called 1-2. 1 ball and 2 strikes. What was the year, David? Here comes a pickoff throw, not in time. It was not 2006. 2007 is correct. But, we'll give David the win tonight because I thought that the ones he got were much harder than the Aaron Judge. Here comes the 1-2. This is swung on and fouled, and the count remains 1 ball and 2 strikes, and it's his final Beat the Bork of the season. So we'll give David the honorary victory in the Beat the Bork Trivia Challenge.
Yeah, he just got a new job, too, so we'll just keep giving David wins here.
Right. It might be
everything's coming up David here.
It might be, who knows? We don't know for sure, but 1 ball and 2 strikes, the count. What was that again? Here's a pitch that's lifted in the air, center field. Underneath it is Fenner.
Oh, no.
Fenner makes the catch, and that's out number 1.
Everything's going well for David.
Got it.
I was trying to word that. Wow.
2-0 in favor of the Oilmen. As Chaz Clark will stand in next. The Oilmen out hitting the Vikings 5-4. Clean game, airless ball on both sides, and the Oilmen with single runs in the 1st and the 5th innings. First pitch here is taken for ball 1, 1 ball and no strikes. Final, again, regular season game with David here. So again, we thank you for playing along from home all season long. We like to have a lot of fun with the Beat the Bork Trivia Challenge. 1 ball and no strikes. Here comes the pitch swung on and dribbled to the left side. This is going to be a tough play. Trevino's throw to first is not in time. Now the throw trickles away, but not far enough for any further advancement. That's a base hit. It's an infield single for Chaz Clark, and the runners at 1st and 2nd.
Just a bit of a weird play off the bat of Clark, as he barely got a piece of that one off the top of the bat, and it rolled in a spot where it just came to a halt, forcing Palicki to come in and allow now 2 base runners on for the Oilmen. Only leading by 2 here. You want to try to make sure you distance yourself some more as you're getting into the bullpen of the Vikings. You don't want to help them out too much here.
Here comes the first pitch taken for ball 1. This is always an opportunity when you get into the bullpen. We've talked about it all season long, especially a team has a really good starting outing from a starting pitcher. Sometimes you have a chance for a big inning once you get into that relief core. This is high for a ball. A lot of times the Oilmen are depending on trying to come back late in the game against the bullpen, but in this case they are protecting a lead, and you like this opportunity to try to tack on against the Viking bullpen as the 2-0 to Ostrowski is taken for a strike, and the count is 2-1.
Especially the way Knowles had such great command throughout the game that you really didn't have to work too many counts against him. So now you're facing a pitcher who might be having a different approach here, and you can try to force him to throw a lot of pitches outside the zone here.
And the runners take off too early. Running at the man is the lefty Trevino. He throws to 3rd. Now the throw back is going to be deflected, no play, and this all turns into nothing. It was a rundown. Trevino ran right at the runner, Curcio, And then he threw to third. Policki, the third baseman, received it. And then he threw toward Cano covering second, but Taylor, the shortstop, got in the way and deflected the throw to second. And it just turns into absolutely nothing as the runners end up right where they were at first and second with one out.
And that was just a weird play, but Dom Curcio can be relieved as he didn't run into an out there and gives the Oilmen another chance here with 2 men on here. That's the last thing you want to do is help Southland out and run into outs on the base paths.
3 balls and a strike here on Ostrowski. Trevino comes back. Oilmen trying to add to a 2-0 lead. Here comes the 3-1. Swinging a line drive to second. There's one, and then the throw to second is not in time. The runner, Curcio, diving headfirst back into the second base bag safely. Ostrowski lines out for the second out of the inning, but alert base running by Curcio to recognize that Cano had captured this line drive. Taylor was sprinting over to cover that second base bag, but by that time, Curcio was safe at second base.
And a heads-up play by Curcio to slide in there because we saw earlier the Oilmen defensively were able to turn a double play on a similar type of hit, a line out to shortstop. Zebig was able to get the throw over to second in time for the double play. Curcio was able to avoid that and now give the Oilmen a chance with the top of the order up.
Shai Robinson swings and misses in the count, no balls and 1 strike. Robinson, we talked about earlier, he's hit the ball solidly throughout his young Oilman tenure so far.
And he's just doing a good job of really just being able to put it to different parts of the field, hit for those extra bases, has a lot of pop in his at-bat, and he's not getting, chasing pitches outside the zone. He's just working with what he's been given and taking it for extra bases.
It's pitch high for a ball, 1 ball, 1 strike. Getting back to the first base cushion safely was Clark as the catcher Crowell kind of looked him back to the bag and faked a throw toward first. Here comes the 1-1. It's taken for a strike called in the count 1-2. 2-0 Oilmen in what has turned out to be a beautiful night at Oil City Stadium. The weather prognosticators thought we might have some storms over the course of the ball game, but that has not been the case whatsoever.
Even pregame, we weren't sure if we were going to have baseball tonight.
Runner from second goes, and this pitch is grounded foul. Curcio was in motion on the pitch, but he'll have to head back to second base as he was trying to get a jump start on heading toward third.
It was looking like maybe we wouldn't have a game as Mother Nature did not cooperate with some of the teams around the league, forcing them to be rained out, but the Oilmen were fortunate, and the Vikings as well, to just get a great night of play baseball. And with the season winding down, we really do appreciate these nights when you can get them.
1 ball and 2 strikes, 2 outs, 2-0 in favor of the Oilmen. Here the runner goes, the 1-2 is outside for a ball, throw on the trail runner to second base, and they're going to get him in a rundown. Now the lead runner's headed toward the plate, the throw there is offline, and now going to second base safely is going to be Clark. Clark's thinking about third, and he's going to hold at second base as he ends up successfully moving to second. It's I honestly will have to figure out the scoring. Originally a double steal, and then there was a rundown between first and second. Clark ends up safe at second base as the throw toward home was wild, and after having stole third was Curcio, and then he ends up going home during the rundown. I think you credit a double steal. Curcio comes in and scores on the rundown. Here's the 1-2. This is outside for a ball, and the count is 2 balls and 2 strikes, and a wacky play has added to the Oilman lead.
At the Vikings, they might have just been thinking too much there. You maybe had that chance to get Clark out at second, and you should have just focused on the rundown there. That throw to home maybe overcomplicated things, forced too many different players to be aware, and resulted in a run to score, and you didn't even make it out on that play. Probably should have stuck with what you had there and gone for Clark at second.
3-2 now on Robinson. He'd love to add 1 more. 2 outs, full count, runner at second base, 3-0 Oilmen. The payoff is outside for ball 4. Robinson draws the walk, and now Marshall will come up there.
And see, this is where that play really hurts even more, is because they didn't give up that walk to the next hitter, so you could have been maybe out of that inning if you were able to focus on Clark there. But instead, you have to face David Marshall with 2 men on, and Marshall already has a pair of RBIs this evening.
3-0 Oilmen here in the bottom of inning number 7 as they try to add to the lead. Oilmen out hitting the Vikings 5-4. Here comes the pitch to Marshall. It's taken for a strike. Count 0-1.
This could be a big frame for the Oilmen here if you're able to put one up against a reliever and maybe keep working him here. You're forcing him to think. You've forced the defense to maybe make a couple mistakes. This could be a frame where you could try to get a couple more on the board.
Here's a line drive foul, and the count 0-2. thought once that throw went down to second on the double steal, the best bet was going to be to try to apply the tag on that runner before the run crossed home plate. And worst case scenario, maybe the run does score, but you at least get out of the inning. But with there being 2 outs, it looked to me like the Vikings could have completed that rundown and got the runner out at second base before the Oilmen had the run cross the plate, but instead throwing wildly toward the plate allowed the Oilmen to end up with runner at second and a run in the bank, and the inning's still going.
I really do think their best chance was trying to get Clark going for second there. Yeah, worst case scenario, you do allow that run to score, but at least you get out of the inning. You didn't have to face Robinson, who then worked his way on base, and bring up Marshall, another good hitter. You could have just maybe conceded that run and made the third out and got your bats back up, trying to make up for it.
Here's the 0-2. This is swung on and lifted to left. This is going to be foul. Still have to think through the exact scoring. That was a very unusual play. Three 0 Oilmen as Curcio came around to score on that play. He scored all the way from second base. And he was trying to score from second before the only mistake of the play, the wild throw toward home. Here comes the 0-2. This is swung on and lifted foul off to the left and out of play.
And a smart decision, too, by Curcio, realizing there was that rundown that he might have a chance to kind of sneak in home, and it really did work. And he puts another run on the board for the Oilmen, which is huge for them, as they hadn't scored since the 5th inning.
3 single-run innings for the Oilmen, the 1st, the 5th, and the 7th. No balls and 2 strikes on Marshall, who has 2 hits today. He takes the ball, and it's 1-2.
Marshall leads the team in walks. He's good at working a lot of these counts. Even though he's behind here, you're going to have to beat him with a good pitch.
Here comes the 1-2. Swinging a foul out of play left side, and the count remains 1 ball and 2 strikes on Marshall. Trevino toes the rubber again. Here's the set from Trevino as the comes back lefty on lefty. Here's the 1-2. This is swung on and lifted to left. That's a diving attempt, no play, base hit around third, trying to score Clark. He will. Here comes Robinson. He's getting the green light from Matt Vituli. He will score. 2-run double. David Marshall. Oilmen lead 5-0.
That was a huge play for the Oilmen there. Really had the left fielder Turner. Maybe had no choice but to go for broke and dive for that one. He wasn't able to get it, so it rolls past him all the way into the corner. The Oilmen now put on 2 runs, and it all goes back to that double steal where the Vikings were not able to make the third out. If you were just able to apply that tag, allow the third run there, you would have, okay, fine, you give up a run, but at least you're out of that frame. Now the Oilmen have been able to extend the inning, score that run, then put on 2 more just because they were able to escape that rundown without giving up an out.
Hedrick takes the strike, and the count 0-1.
Now you're facing Kane Hedrick up at the plate, someone who swings a really good bat. He's hitless so far today, but the reigning Northern League Player of the Week can try to change that.
Here's the 0-1 pitch, low for a ball, and the count 1 ball and 1 strike. 1-1 on Hedrick, 2 outs, 5-0 in favor of the Oilmen. Here comes the 1-1. This is swung on and lifted in the air, foul off to the right and out of play. And it's 1 ball and 2 strikes on Hedrick.
That's big for the Oilmen, putting up 3 runs in this inning, their biggest frame of the ball game. Really helps for Jake Ostrowski on the mound as he tries to continue the trend of Oilmen pitchers putting zeros on the board.
1-2, 2 outs, 5-0 Oilmen. Big double for Marshall a moment ago. Here's a ground ball toward third. This is fielded by Palicki. His throw to first is in time, and the inning ends. But not before damage done, as the Oilmen score 3 times on 3 hits and 1 left. We take it to the 8th inning. It's now 5-0 Oilmen on the Northwest Indiana Oilmen Broadcasting Network.
Beach is just too hot. I mean, God, look at it. It's making the sand burn, the mouth dry, the skin cry. I mean, everything's just... Oh, there's Coors Light. Well, mouth desert, meet ice cold beer. Mountain cold refreshment. That's chill.
Who is the IBEW? We're the people who bring the power to your home, the ones who make sure your phone calls and internet keep speeding along. We build things like schools and hospitals. We bring the biggest shows and sporting events to the world, keep America's railroads on the right track, help cities, states, and the federal government work for you. And we proudly build products made in the USA. The International Brotherhood of Electrical Workers, the IBEW.
You didn't do anything wrong. You just didn't know Miller Lite has more taste and only one more calorie than Michelob Ultra. Now, you do.
Safety isn't a list of boxes to check. It's taking the best technologies out there and adapting them to work for you. The ultrasound that can see inside patients can also detect early signs of corrosion at our refineries. High-tech military cameras that see through walls can inspect our pipelines to prevent leaks. Remote-controlled aircraft can help us identify potential problems and stop them in their tracks. At BP, safety is never being satisfied and always working to be better.
BP's natural gas teams use smart app technology to share data from any well instantly, so they can analyze trends and stop potential problems in their tracks, because safety is never being satisfied and always working to be better.
Back for the 8th inning, 5-0 in favor of the Oilmen. 3 runs in the bottom of the 7th for the Oilmen, and that has allowed them to build up a 5-0 lead, as it'll be the 2, 3, and 4 hitters for the Vikings in this 8th inning. Here comes the first pitch from Jake Ostrowski, and it's taken for a strike, the count 0-1. There was a very unusual play that we were still talking through between innings, and that was the big play of that inning. If the Vikings at least get an out on that play, it certainly limits the damage to no more than 1 run, and maybe they could get the out without that run crossing. This is swung on and lifted foul. The other part of that play is a good throw probably gets the runner at the plate, and the errant throw allowed him to score safely, and the score ends up being 5-0 Oilmen after they tack on 2 more.
The Oilmen were really able to build off of that misplay by the Vikings and extend their lead, and that feels like a big inning because we've seen a lot of games this season for the Oilmen where they've scored early but then go dormant until the end of the game. Now they were able to get off to an early lead and extend upon that.
Here's a swing and a miss by Bilecki, and the count is a ball and 2 strikes. Here's the 1-2, swinging a ground ball up the middle. This is going to be a base hit center field. Bilecki grounds it through the center of the diamond for a leadoff single to begin the 8th.
That one took a hop off the mound and really made it tough for Zebik to play that short. It looked like if that one continued to roll, he could have maybe got to that, but then it took that high redirection off the mound and took a bounce towards center field, so Zebik wasn't able to get the angle he originally had on it, and results in a 1-out base runner for the Vikings.
Did promise we'd sort out the scoring on that play. In that last inning, it goes as a double steal, no error on the play. The runner just advances and scores as he tried to take that extra base. Here comes the pitch taken high for a ball to Taylor, and the count is 1 ball and no strikes. Five nothing Oilmen. We are in the 8th. Here's the 1-0, taken high for a ball, 2-0. Oilmen have some separation now after that big inning in the 7th. So now Jake Ostrowski can work a little more comfortably in this 8th inning. Great pitching from the Ostrowskis all night long. Here comes the 2-0, taken high and in for a ball, 3-0.
And normally it's the other way around where it's Jake starting off games, Matt coming in relief, but you have to really be pleased with what Matt was able to do on the mound today, going 6 innings, really keeping the Vikings guessing at the plate. He was throwing his off-speed pitches for strikes, really didn't have to use the fastball too much, and when he did, he was able to locate it effectively, and that's put him in a good spot in this game, and now Jake has some runs to work with here.
Here's ball 4, so a hit and a walk has set up McDevitt with the base with 2 on and nobody out. And here's where you really want to throw strikes because you have a little bit bigger of a lead. You want to avoid walking people.
And you don't want to give Southland an opportunity to get back into this either. With McDevitt at the plate, someone who is one of the league leaders in walks, certainly the Southland team leader, he's going to not be chasing stuff outside of the zone, so you have to throw strikes in there for him.
McDevitt stands in next. Runner at first and second with nobody out. Leo talked about McDevitt, 27 runs driven in, and he comes up in an RBI spot. Take a look at a little this date in Oilmen history. A lot of postseason action down through the years on this date. The Vikings threatening here, nobody out in the 8th inning. Here comes the first pitch from Jake Ostrowski. He's set, and now he delivers it. It's a strike. On this date back in 2012, 10 years ago today, the first playoff game in Oilmen history. It was Game 1 of the first championship series game, I should say, in Oilmen history. Game 1 of the final series against the DeKalb County Liners, a team that was in the league for just the 2012 season. Here comes the 1-1. This is high and in for a ball, and the count is 2 balls and 1 strike. The Liners and Oilmen faced off in the championship series that year, and it was the Oilmen prevailing in Game 1 by a score of 12-6. 1 ball, 1 strike. Here's the pitch low and in, 2-1 now. On this date in 2013, it was Game 1 of the championship series that year as well. The Oilmen dropping that game here at Oil City Stadium by a score of 7-2. It was the Oilmen and the Vikings matching up in the postseason, and it was the first ever playoff loss for the Oilmen after they had swept through the playoffs in 2012. Adam Enright to the mound here to chat it over with Jake. It's a one-on-one visit here in this situation. He's falling behind 2 balls and a strike here, Leo, with 2 on and nobody out.
As Jake Ostrowski really just needs to try to throw strikes up here, as he's been facing McDevitt, one of the league leaders in walks, so you need to just try to get something swinging and missing here. Do what you can to get the first out of this inning as they're running into trouble with base runners on.
But Brandon White pitched the Vikings past the Oilmen on this date back in 2013, 7-2 in Game 1 of the championship series right here at Oil City Stadium. So on this date in 2015 that the Oilmen season came to an end, they left 16 on base and lost to the Lexington Snipes 6-2 in the third and decisive game of the MCL semifinal series. 2 balls and a strike, the count here. Tomorrow night's a good one. We have a lot of good on this date coming up tomorrow night. Few more tonight we'll get to. Here's the 2-1. A check swing. Did he go around? And yes, says Mike Clay. That's strike number 2. The count evens at 2-2 on McDevitt.
That really helps Ostrowski getting that checking swing. Now with the 2-2 count, he can try to put something in the zone to get that first out of the inning.
2 balls and 2 strikes. 5-0 Oilmen. Ostrowski trying to keep the shutout intact as the Vikings threaten in this 8th inning. Here comes the 2-2. Swinging a foul back to the screen. On this date in 2016, the Oilmen beat the Joliet Admirals. I almost said Generals. Admirals by a score of 14-6, as that allowed them to wrap up a spot in the championship series. I remember the Hounds had already clinched a spot in the championship. The Oilmen beat Joliet right here at the OC. Here comes the 2-2. High for ball 3-2. And I remember saying on the our radio call, it's just the way it should be. It'll be the Oilmen and the DuPage County Hounds duking it out with a championship on the line. And the Oilmen had a really good team in 2015, came up short in the playoffs, and then in Adam Enright's second season as manager, that meant a lot to beat the Admirals on this date and get back to the championship series. This is taken for strike 3 call. Throwing his equipment aside was the batter McDevitt. He thought it was ball 4. Instead, he's out on strikes, Leo, for the first out of the 8th inning.
And that was pivotal of Ostrowski to get strike 3 there against one of the best walkers in the league. Get the strikeout looking there on a pitch he thought was ball 4. And that helps when you already have 2 men on. You prevent loading the bases, and now a double play gets you out of this jam.
5-0 Oilmen here as we play inning number 8. Here comes the first pitch, taken for a strike, the count 0-1. A few more on this date in 2017. The Oilmen beat the Bloomington Bobcats 7-0. That kept the season alive and evened the semifinal series that year at 1 win apiece. And it was on this date in 2018 that the Oilmen started the MCL Championship Series with a road win at DuPage County to take a 1-0 lead in that series. We have some good stories to go with the dates that we'll have for you tomorrow night. Leo and I will have it for you as the Oilmen take on the Panthers, so tune in for that. Here this misses for a ball, and it's 1 ball and 1 strike on Blaze Cano.
It's fun getting to hear the postseason editions of this day in Oilman history. It gets you excited for what we have in store next week as a whole new edition of postseason lore gets ready to be written.
Here's the 1-1. This is outside for a ball. Adam Enright had a quote last night where he told me, we have to think about the playoffs. That's what everyone remembers. And truly, those are the games I really remember when I think about each one of these games. And I was at every game I just told you about, with the exception of the 2017 game against the Bobcats. But I've been at the vast majority of the Oilman playoff games, and those are the ones I remember. Here's the 2-1, taken for a strike call. Now it's 2-2.
Ostrowski just getting a spot at the edge of the zone there, outside part for the right-handed batter, and now he is trying to catch strike 3 there. That was a call Cano didn't agree with, as if you're Ostrowski on the mound, maybe go right back to that same spot.
2-1, 2-2 the count, 1 out in the inning, the 2-2. Swinging a fly ball, foul territory, and able to make the catch as the first baseman Cosenza. The runner's tag, the throw to third is going to be in time. That's a double play. It's a foul fly caught by Cosenza, and then it goes 3-5 on the double play as Balicki tries to inexplicably move up in a 5-run game in the 8th inning, and it costs them as it turns in to a twin killing. The Vikings in that inning, no runs, 1 hit, 1 left. After 7.5, it's the Oilmen 5 and the Vikings nothing on the Northwest Indiana Oilmen Broadcasting Network.
When you hire certified electrician contractors, you're getting the best. But just as important as our skill and expertise is our culture of safety. We know it's important to you, and we know it's important to them. Certified Electrician represents the NECA IBEW team, a team where safety and productivity go hand in hand. It's why our jobs finish on time and on budget. It's why owners that use us are repeat customers. Certified Electrician, working together, powering Northwest Indiana.
Wait! Let me help! Land of Frost! Premium meat! Delicious! And no byproducts!
Toss it in.
Et moi?
Okay.
Whee!
Make a smart choice. Land of Frost Premium Meat.
Yes!
When it comes to Sunday, choose the right couch. Here's to the original light beer. It's Miller time.
Safety doesn't come in a box. It's not a banner that goes on a wall. It's not something you do now and then, or when it's convenient. It's using state-of-the-art simulators to better prepare for any situation. It's giving offshore teams onshore support, and it's empowering anyone to stop a job if something doesn't seem right. At BP, safety is never being satisfied, and always working to be better.
BP's natural gas teams use smart app technology to share data from any well instantly, so they can analyze trends and stop potential problems in their tracks, because safety is never being satisfied and always working to be better.
Again, lots coming up this weekend. We expect some good crowds the rest of the week here at Oil City Stadium through Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. Those are big dates, including Elvis Night on Friday. And then Saturday, of course, Fan Appreciation Night. Each and every year, the final home game of the regular season. Trevino has warmed up and is ready to go. Not sure what, a slight delay, but now we are, it appears, all set for baseball in the bottom of this 8th inning. 5-0 Oilmen. And again, a very strong pitching performance today has put the Oilmen in good position.
That was a good inning in the top of the 8th by Jake Ostrowski because he ran into some trouble there. There were some runners on base, but he was able to work those outs and get a big double play to end it.
Here's a ground ball toward first. This is fielded by McDevitt. He takes it to the cushion himself. 3 unassisted for the first out of the 8th inning, and that'll bring up Anderson.
And we've seen it a few times this night. When Oilman pitchers run into trouble, the defense has been there to pick them up tonight. And that's what we saw on that double play where maybe there was a questionable send, but the Oilman making heads-up plays, everybody staying aware, and we're able to turn 2 there to the end of the frame.
Now Anderson batting. I think it was an aggressive move to try to move up to third base on that play. Here comes a swing and a miss. However, the key is the point in the game and the score, I think, on that play. In a one-run game, to try to get that extra 90 feet can be a big deal. But if you're the Vikings, you need a multi-run inning in the 8th. This is swung on and crushed foul left side out of play and up into the protective netting. So when you're probably playing for a big inning, not trying to scratch out a run, the 90 feet from second to third probably isn't worth the risk of making that out in that spot.
No, when you're down 5, you really do need to play it safer. You need to think about fighting for extra at-bats, especially that time when it's out number 2. You really don't want to get too aggressive and send it in for what might just be a minimal difference in the scheme of things, that extra 90 feet.
0-2 on Nick Anderson. This is taken outside for a ball. I believe this is the first time in Oilmen history, by the way, this year that we have someone with the exact same first and last name as a previous member of the Oilmen. This is not the same Nick Anderson that spent several seasons, or at least one season 2 years ago around the club. But this is a different Nick Anderson for the Oilmen this year. 1 ball and 2 strikes, 5-0 in favor of Northwest Indiana. This is swung on and lifted in the air to left, going back on his left fielder Turner. This is trouble, and it's going to clear the scoreboard in left for a home run over the brick monster for Nick Anderson, his first home run of the season, and the Oilmen continue to add on. They lead by half a dozen.
Anderson saw a pitch he liked there and was just able to take it the distance, getting under it, putting it over the brick monster, and just helping the Oilmen extend their lead there. That was a great swing, and that's really helping out the cause.
Now Dom Curcio with the Oilmen leading it by 6. Nick Anderson, a long home run. Now Curcio lifts one in the air. This is shallow right or medium deep right, and it's caught by Balicki, and that is out number 2. 2 down in the inning, 6-0 Oilmen, and that'll bring up Cosenza.
And Nick Anderson's been someone who's been around a few different times with the Oilmen this season, filling in a catcher when needed, and he really helped out the team there. When the team called upon him tonight, he's been solid behind the plate, made a good throw over to third to catch a base runner, and then now with the home run, you notice him in the lineup this evening with his impact.
Cosenza takes a strike in the count 0-1. This pitch may have been a little bit generous. No balls and a strike. The count on Cosenza. It's taken low for a ball. The count 1-1, but it's been kind of the same on both sides with the zone extended just a little bit, especially here in the late going. 1 ball, 1 strike on Joe. Oilmen by 6 in the 8th. The 1-1. Outside for a ball. I was talking about players with the same name. And actually, the Oilmen were poised a couple of years ago, the year before last, to have 2 guys by the name of Tyler Nelson on the team.
Really?
But then one, I believe, was injured and ended up being unable to play. Here comes the 2-1, swing and a miss, and it's 2-2. But they've played together some before over the years and traveled. They played against each other in high school, with one going to Chesterton and one going to Andrean. And then one was going for college to Indiana University and the other going to Indiana State. And they both had the same name, Tyler Nelson, both position players. And it ended up being only the one who was going to Indiana that played for the Oilmen that summer. But we thought we were also going to, originally on the roster, have the other Tyler Nelson. That made for kind of a fun anecdote. The 2-2 high and outside for ball 3.
That would have been fun to do during your lineup introductions pregame.
I forget what their middle initials were, but we originally had the middle initials on the roster until one eventually was removed before ever playing in a game. Here's ball 4 to Cosenza, and that's a 2-out walk. That'll bring up Chaz Clark.
That's what you like to see from Cosenza there, not running into the strikeout there. As he's behind in that at-bat, was able to work things back for the walk. And with 2 outs, the Oilmen have done a good job of that all night, is extending and he's getting runners on. And that's led some good stuff for them as their runs in the 7th inning all came with 2 away.
Now it's Chaz Clark. Lead at first for Cosenza. Here's the first pitch to Clark. This is swung on and lifted in the air to right on the run. Getting there and making the catch is Balicki, and the inning ends. The Oilmen settle for the 1 run. The homer by Anderson. That was the 1 hit and 1 left. We take it to inning number 9. I hope you won't go anywhere. The Oilmen are trying to win the season series from the rival Vikings. It's the Oilmen 6 and Southland 0 on the Northwest Indiana Oilmen Broadcasting Network.
football legend Tom Flores, a.k.a. the Iceman, a.k.a. the first Latino quarterback and head coach ever, a.k.a. why isn't he in the hall yet? Well, Coors Light is going to do something about it.
I'll drink to that.
I am a success. I am the future.
I am.
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 I am Ivy Tech Community College. Are you?
You guys are crushing it. See how 8 grams of healthy protein in Land of Frost premium meat gives you energy and keeps you full. Let's get those buns toasted and bread. Cheese, 10 more. Go.
I'm getting shredded.
Make the smart choice. Land of Frost Premium Meat.
Safety isn't a list of boxes to check. It's taking the best technologies out there and adapting them to work for you. The ultrasound that can see inside patients can also detect early signs of corrosion at our refineries. High-tech military cameras that see through walls can inspect our pipelines to prevent leaks. Remote-controlled aircraft can help us identify potential problems and stop them in their tracks. At BP, safety is never being satisfied and always working to be better.
Back for the 9th inning. It's 6-0 in favor of the Oilmen. Let's run it down here. The Oilmen are trying to up their record to 23-21. The Vikings want to avoid seeing their record slip to 9 over at 26-17, but to avoid that, they're going to need a rally in this 9th inning. Here comes the set and the first pitch from Jake Ostrowski. It's low for a ball. The starters are the pitchers of record tonight. Matt Ostrowski is in position for the win, and Nick Knowles is on the hook for the loss. And if Jake Ostrowski closes this out, he is in line for a save. The 1-0 is lifted in the air, pretty well hit. Underneath it now is Curcio, and he camps underneath it and makes the catch for the first out of the 9th inning.
That's what Ostrowski needs there. Just don't have to worry too much about getting lots of strikes in there. You just have to find one that can be played for contact and let Curcio take care of it for you, and you're just 2 outs closer to getting through this game. And you have to like the Ostrowski combo for the Oilman pitching staff tonight.
Policki stands in. 6-0 Oilmen as we play inning number 9. Here comes the first pitch, swinging a line drive to short, leaping catch by the shortstop Zebig, and there's 2 outs in the inning.
Jack Zebig's just been so reliable all season at short for the Oilmen. There he goes, making another example of that, taking that pop-up for the out for the second out of the game, and now the Vikings are down to their last chance.
Jackie Turner standing in is the only hope for Scott Nowakowski and the Southland Vikings here tonight. Turner batting left-handed against Ostrowski. One Ostrowski trying to save it for the other. Something we haven't seen with the Oilmen since Matt Poberico used to save games for Danny Poberico. 1 ball and no strikes on Turner as the first pitch was outside. Here comes the 1-0. It's high for a ball, 2-0. And again, the Panthers will be in each of the next 3 nights. 7-10, 7-10, and then an hour earlier on Saturday, 6-10. Here's the 2-0 to Turner. Taken for a strike. It's 2-1. Oilmen lead by half a dozen as we play the top of the 9th inning. Here comes the 2-1. Swing and a miss, and now the Oilmen are 1 strike away.
Ostrowski locating his fastball pretty well this inning, just really not needing to do much other than that and get that pitch in there for strikes, trying to finish off the job against Turner.
Here's the set and the 2-2 pitch. It's taken outside for a ball. The 2 teams have split the season series 4-4 through the first 8 games, and the Oilmen are on the threshold of winning the regular season series against these Vikings. Here's the set and the payoff pitch. It's taken just outside for ball 4.
And that's where it helps that the Oilmen have a 6-run cushion to work with, where that base runner with 2 outs doesn't make it too much of a high leverage situation for Ostrowski on the mound. He can just focus on Knowles here and try to get out number 3.
Knowles comes up with 2 down, and Jackie Turner, the runner at first base. Oilmen trying to move to, here comes the pitch taken inside for a ball, move to just behind the Generals for third in the Northern League standings. So they believe will be nipping at their heels if they win this game today. Here comes the 1-0. Swinging a bouncing ball up the middle, fielded by the shortstop Ziebig. The throw to first is in time, and that's the way this one comes to a close. The Oilmen have won the season series from the Southland Vikings, and they shut out the Vikings tonight, winning this ball game by a score of 6-0. Great pitching by the Ostrowskis. Matt the win, Jake the save, and the Oilmen are 2 over as they hold a record now of 23-21. Thanks to everybody involved with our broadcast, Kevin Malater and David Bork. Appreciate their fine work as always. For Leo Staudaher, Brandon Vickery saying, I hope you enjoyed. After a speedy game that took just over 2 hours and 20 minutes, 2:27 to complete, as the Oilmen beat the Vikings tonight. For Leo Staudaher, Brandon Vickery saying, I hope you enjoyed. Please stay tuned for Leo's post-game show. It's next. I'll talk to you again tomorrow night on the Northwest Indiana Oilmen Broadcasting Network.
I've never seen ads on top of the roof where it's helping the community.
This place teaches you to be genuine, to be the same person today as you were yesterday. People from Indiana, they're pretty comfortable with who they are. And you know, I think that puts the people around them at ease to be comfortable with who they are.
The values that built Indiana are here in Strachan Van Til. We're Indiana's grocery store, and we're proud to be Indiana made.
These days, it's recommended that you keep your social circle small. Of course, as the original light beer, we've always recommended that. It's Miller time.
Leo Staudaher with you here, wrapping up a Wednesday night win for the Northwest Indiana Oilmen, where the Oilmen dispatched the Southland Vikings 6-0. A complete game shutout by the brothers Ostrowski. Matt going 6 innings, Jake going 3. Matt gets the win, Jake gets the save. The Oilmen will also win the season series against the Vikings 5-4. And this was a big one as it helps the Oilmen move their record to 23-21. The Vikings will fall to 26-17. Oilmen try to make up some ground in 4th place with trailing Generals in 3rd place. This will help their case as Joliet was out of action tonight. Oilmen and Vikings, the lone game in the Northern League this evening. Again, let's talk about the Ostrowski brothers here as they were the only 2 on the mound for the Oilmen. Matt going 6 innings of 3 hit ball, no runs allowed, 3 walks, 3 strikeouts. Jake going 3 innings of 2 hit ball, walking 2, striking out 3. The Oilmen defense playing really well behind them. Jack Ziebig making some great plays at short, a heads-up double play he was able to make out a line out. He made some great jumping catches and some smart throws. He's really blossoming into one of the top shortstops in the league. You like to see what he has there. And the center fielder, Dom Curcio, made some nice grabs as well to help things out. Offensively, how about Nick Anderson hitting his first home run of the season? That helped put a little bit of distance between them in the 8th inning. That was all they needed. The Oilmen scored first in the 1st inning after an RBI double from David Marshall that would score Shai Robinson, who's really turning into a nice piece at the top of this lineup. The Oilmen then would go scoreless until the 5th inning when they'd tack on one more after Marshall drove home Chaz Clark with an RBI single. And the Oilmen exploded for 3 runs in the 7th and 1 more in the 8th. David Marshall had himself a day with 3 hits and 4 RBIs. You have to like what the Oilmen 3rd baseman turned in. This was a good lineup from the Oilmen as it was that top of the order. Robinson, Marshall, Hedrick, Ziebig, and Anderson producing most of those runs. Saw Chaz Clark get on base and score a couple of runs too out of the 8th spot. So the back of the order helping out get that production too. Oilmen are going to need it to be a complete 1-9 effort as they close out the week. 3 home games against the Crestwood Panthers. If you haven't made it out to a game this season, you only have a few more chances left, so try to come out tomorrow night for Thirsty Thursday. It'll be a 7:10 start. We'll have the pregame coming up at 7 for the Oilmen and Panthers. Until then, that's all the coverage I have for you here. Once again, the Oilmen dispatched the Southland Vikings by a score of 6-0. This is Leo Stodder thanking you for following along all evening on the Northwest Indiana Oilmen Broadcasting Network.